And it's live. Oops. No, I had the video down here and now I don't see it. Oh, there's Kimi Dante. Hey. Oh, there's Tasha. See you guys. This is frustrating me because I can't find that video. I just had it up.
Living life on the merry-go.
What I've learned is that a lot of people who deal with trauma don't always know that they still struggle with trauma until you get into maybe a relationship with people, and then you're able to see that, oh wow, I'm having these triggers and this is why. So I'm just going to give you a little bit about my story and some things that I experienced. I am Amber Nicole. I am happy to be here. I'm born and raised here. I was 11 years old in sixth grade, pregnant by a man who molested me for over a year, and I never said nothing. Because I never felt like I could talk. I forgive the guy that molested me for a year because I had to let that go. I forgive you. You did what you did to me, but I forgive that. I'm over it. I cannot hold on to that anger in me no more because that anger is making me bitter and angry and hurt and not able to stand up for who I really am. So I decided that I needed to change my mind on what I thought about myself. What I realized is that everybody has a purpose, but it is your job to figure out what that purpose is.
I rise like the day, I rise up, I rise unafraid, I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times.
Girl, you the business. Girl, you got this. Who wouldn't want to be you? And at the time, I didn't believe it when I started saying it. But over time, I really started believing it. Like, I am the bomb. And then you hear people saying it like, girl, why would you not think that? Well, because I had someone tell me for so long, you're nothing. So since I had someone telling me that, I had to say it to myself. And not just in my mind, but literally out loud. Where my kids are looking at me and they're saying, Mom, what are you talking about? Steps. The first thing I actually started doing is I turned my life over to God.
All right.
I told God, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have any guidance. And I keep trying to look for people here on earth to give me the guidance, and I'm not getting it. So maybe I should turn to you for that. Then I started meditating. So I pray and I meditate. Then I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm feeling a little bit better about myself. Then I started doing daily affirmations. a lot of times, majority of us, we aren't consistent in what we do. We start doing it, we'll do it for about what? A good 2-3 weeks, month. Let's just say month at the most. After about 30 days, 2 months, most people usually get tired of having to do the same thing over and over again, especially when you're not seeing the results. But what you don't understand is you already going to go through a hard time. Everybody goes through a hard time. So wouldn't you rather go through that hard time and then eventually get to your destination of what you're trying to reach to, whether that be being a new business owner, whether that's going to be weight loss, writing a book. There's some people that want to write a book. Whatever that is, being a teacher, going back to school, whatever it is that you have in mind for yourself that you said, I always wanted to do this. Are you letting the pressure of right now, are you letting it make you fold and sit back and do nothing and be comfortable and just say, oh, it is what it is. I'll just let it pass. I'm bored in the house doing nothing at all. Or are you taking this pressure and taking this moment and utilizing it and using your time wisely? I'm going to get the car. My car might be got repossessed, but I'm about to hop on this bus and I'm going to get it because that's what needs to be done. I dealt with that. But I told myself I don't care because God is using my test for a testimony to be able to help somebody else out. So the fact that I am dealing with that, I know somebody else is going to hear this and know that you can get through anything that you ever go through. If you set your mind to believe, I can get through this. When you say something to yourself over and over again, I can't do it, I'm incapable of doing this, then your mind really starts to believe in that, and then you don't get out of it. Raise your hand if you told yourself you was broke and $1 million came into your bank account. I guarantee no one else is going to be able to raise their hand for that, because if you keep telling yourself you're broke, baby, you're going to stay broke.
Times again.
What does it look like to change? What does it look like when you are who you want to be? What does it look like when you achieve what you want to achieve? If you don't have in your mind what that looks like, then you'll never know when you get there because you didn't prepare to say, this is what I want. This is what success looks like for me. This is what change looks like for me. These are my areas that I need to work on. Here are my areas that I excel in. Here's my strengths. Here's my weaknesses. When you identify those things, then you are able to identify, okay, now I'm prepared to change. Change don't just come overnight. The person I am today is not the person I was 5 years ago.
And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. That we have each other, and for that we have each other, and we will rise, we'll rise up, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the air. I will rise 1,000 times.
All right, guys. Hello. Listen, I just watched that whole entire video and I started getting emotional as I watched it. Every time I see that video, my son actually made that video for me. And the first time he made it, I really started crying because it was like, wow, Amber, you have came through so much and never thought I would be where I am today. So I want to thank you guys all for joining us today. The women, me and the women today are going to bring it for you. I hope you are going to take some real knowledge and wisdom from today. Let me introduce myself first. Hello, I am Amber Nicole. I am a trauma and confidence coach and author, actually a newly authored this year. I had two new books I co-authored in this year. So I had Girl Get Up and Move and Courageous Enough to Launch that just launched this year. I'm also a transformational speaker. Pretty much what I do is I help women who have suffered from abuse and trauma in their lives. I help clients like overcome issues like lack of clarity, lack of direction, low self-esteem, being stuck, and just not knowing how to move, because I know some of these issues that they keep women from really creating the life and the impact and income that they really desire. So that's a little bit about what I do. I just want you guys to know that today will be an interactive experience. I need you guys to make sure that you are commenting, that you are liking, that you are interacting with us, because when you interact with us, the more you interact, the more growth you'll have, because it shows that you're really paying attention to what the women are saying today. So question number one will be, I want you guys to let me know, what was your intentions for signing up today? Why did you guys sign up? Was it because you just knew somebody? Was it because you wanted some real change? Like, what was the reasons why you guys signed up today? Let me see those. Let me see some of those comments come through. Yes. All right. Let me see if I can see your comments. All right. Well, anyway, so for me, my intention for today is that you guys leave here with at least 1 to 3 lessons and tips that you guys are going to walk away from here. Because like I said, I am a transformational speaker. I'm not here just to motivate you temporarily and then you guys need another little bit of motivation. I'm really here to transform you. I'm really here. I put this event together to really transform your mind, your limited beliefs that you think of yourself, because I was once in your position. So I really want you guys to know how important it is that you guys are really getting the growth and the knowledge and the wisdom from today. Let me see. I've seen some comments come through. Let's see what they say. To encourage by so many different women. Somebody said the video went out. Can you guys still see me? It says the video went out. Are you guys able to still see me? Please let me know. Real change. I hope you can still see me. Someone said their video went out, but I'm not sure if it's just me. I'm here, yes, to transform my mindset. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, awesome, awesome. All right. So once again, like I said, I am Amber Nicole. I am here just for you guys to really just gain the knowledge and the wisdom that you need for yourselves, because it is so important, especially now. I know a lot of for me, I'll just be honest, I really gear towards Black women. I have such a love and respect and just passion for people that look like me, for Black women, because I know how a lot of Black women are broken right now. And some of us may not want to admit it, but we are broken. So it's important that I am pouring into you and giving you the knowledge and wisdom that someone gave to me, because I do have a life coach. So after I have that wisdom, now I want to pass it on to you and really help you guys. All right. So I'm really just going to get into my story first, and then after me, everybody else is going to come along. I hope you are ready. Type "I'm ready" in the chat. I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's do this. Let's do this. Before we get started, I want you guys to know that I am such an introvert, for starters. So just know that I am literally walking in my God-given purpose. God really called me to do this because I don't like speaking. It's not my thing. I'd rather sit home and write a book, but speaking is just not my thing. So when you hear me speaking, know that this is because this is what God called me to do. And when I'm really passionate about what I do, I know that I try to bring it every single time. I see that "I'm ready" is coming through. Thank you guys. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. All right, guys, let's hop into it. I'll start with my story. So like I said, for me, as you guys watched that 7-minute video, for those of you that seen it, that was a little bit about like how my life is now, and also how it started. So if you look at me now, you would never think that I was the woman that I once was 5 years ago. As little as 5 years ago, I was just in a broken space. So 5 years ago, what I did is I left a relationship that I was in. That relationship I was in it for about 10 years. And after being in it for 10 years, I really realized that it was not something for me. It was very toxic. He was mentally abusive. He was verbally abusive. He was physically abusive a lot of the time. And I really sat in that relationship for so long because I just thought that he loved me. I thought his jealousy, I thought his abuse, I thought the things that he put me through, he was doing it because he loved me. But once I left that relationship, I got on this journey of really self discovery because I got to a point in my life that I was so tired of constantly being the same woman I've always been. I was pretty much on autopilot. Wake up in the morning, get my kids ready for school, go to work, come back home, cook dinner, watch some TV, maybe watch Desperate Housewives or something, whatever, and then come back and do it again. I was really on autopilot. I wasn't really taking the time to read books. I wasn't learning anything. I wasn't doing much. I was in college. I was a college student. But aside from that, college doesn't really grow you that much. You know what I mean? It grows you professionally, but it doesn't grow you spiritually. So after, once I got on my journey of like self-discovery and really learning who I was, I realized that I had a victim mentality. And because I had a victim mentality, I attracted victimizers. And let me give you an example of what victim mentality, what I mean by that. What I mean by victim mentality is the fact that I thought because of where I was from, little girl from the hood, single parent household, I was molested when I was 10 years old to the age 11. I got pregnant at age 11. I had my daughter at age 12, and my mother lived paycheck to paycheck. So all of those things in my environment, how I grew up, really took a big part of who I thought I was. I thought, well, this is what my mom's doing, so this is all I can get. I can't get any more than what I see in the environment around me. And once I left that relationship, doing self-discovery, got in, started reading books and things like that, I realized that my limited beliefs were from where I came from. My limited beliefs was because I didn't have the proper guidance or anyone helping me grow as the woman I should be. So what I did was I got to a place where I knew that I had to forgive the people who did what they did to me. I had to forgive my dad for abandoning me at 6 years old. I had to forgive my mother for not pouring into me the way I thought she should have. And not that she was a horrible mom. Once I became an adult, I realized in hindsight, she really was only doing what she could. She loved me the best way that she can. And so it was tough for me growing up. Like, why did I have to be born in this household? Why did I not have better? I always was the different child. I was quiet, I was introverted, but I was different. My thought process, my mind, when I was younger, I was always different than everybody else. Also, I had to forgive the guy that sexually abused me. I realized that a lot of those things was because of my lack of unforgiveness and not really taking the time to properly heal like I should have. So once I forgive them, I started releasing things that I never knew was inside of me. I started waking up, I guess, spiritually waking up. I started really I turned my life over to God. If you see in the video, you see that I turned my life over to God because the people on earth was not giving me the fulfillment that I thought I should be getting. And I realized that the fulfillment I needed wasn't from man, people on earth, but the fulfillment I needed was from God. He could fill me. He could give me help me. He can mend those broken pieces together for me, because being in a relationship didn't help me. I thought that my self-worth came from that relationship, not realizing that I'm worthy without him. I don't need to have a man to be a boss. I don't need to have a man to be beautiful. I don't need to have a man to feel great and be abundant and build an empire. I don't need a relationship for that, but I thought I did. But once God started really pouring into me and speaking to me, and the jobs I was working, I was a paralegal and I worked as a medical assistant at the time. I was making decent money, but I still felt so unfulfilled. So I really got down on my hands and knees. I started meditating and praying, and I asked God, what is it that I can do that really can start fulfilling me? What is it that you want me to be? Who did you birth me to be? Like God said in the Bible, I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. He formed me to be great. So show me who that is, because I don't know. I really don't know who that is. So I need you to tell me, because me trying to figure it out on my own is only getting me even more hurt, right? Type that's me in the feed if you have been in a situation where you really felt lost and you just didn't know what to do. Say me, that's me. I don't know what to do. I feel stuck right now. Type me in the feed if that's you, because I know I'm not the only one who went through that. The problem is we don't have the courage to step out of our comfort zone. We don't have the courage to really take the time to grow our minds. We don't have the courage to really learn who we are, because it takes courage. I see the me's coming in. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for your transparency, because it's important. This is the reason why a lot of women aren't as successful in relationships and business as they want to be. It's because they are so used to their comfort zone, and it takes real work to step out of what you always thought about yourself. It takes real work to really shift your mindset of, oh, I can be the first millionaire in my family. Whoa. Oh, I don't have to be married to build an empire. Okay, oh, I can live wherever state I want to live in. I'm from Illinois, but I live in Florida, So it took courage and work. I done got on my hands and knees. I done cried so many nights, like, what am I supposed to do? Because I'm tired of this. And that's how I birthed my purpose and what I do today. That's why I pour into so many women today. That's why I'm so passionate about helping broken women today. And a lot of women don't know that they're broken. Here's a few things to let you know that you may be having a broken mindset, and not that it's a bad thing, but once you are self-aware of who you are and how you operate, then you can start really generating the change. So like a little bit like I was talking about, number one, if you think you have to have a partner or have a boyfriend or have a man or be married to start really generating some real income, to really start growing and being beautiful, to be worthy, to have confidence, if you think you need to be tied to a man for that, you have a broken mindset, because you are worthy with or without a man. I am in a relationship and I'm very happy in that relationship with Chris, but I'm also happy without him. I'm also whole without him. I do not need him. I desire love, but it's not something I need for me to be successful and to really love on myself. Another thing that you may be realize if you're broken, if you think that you have to live paycheck to paycheck, or you have to work 2-3 jobs to be successful. That's a broken mindset, because you don't work a job for success, because at the end of the day, no matter how many jobs you work, that job is still determining your income. As an entrepreneur, I determine my income myself. My workshops, my Courageous Confidence courses, my clients that pay me for VIP coaching, I get to determine how much they pay me. I determine my income that comes into me. I don't have a business telling me this is how much you get paid, this is how much you're worth. No, I'll tell you how much I'm worth, and then it's up to you to decide if you want to pay me that. So I just really am here just to let you guys know that you are beautiful, you are worthy, you are valuable. And what you need to do is sit and look in the mirror and say that to yourself. I'm worthy, I'm valuable, I can do this, I love me. You cannot love anyone if you don't first love yourself. All the love you give to everybody else, if you're not loving on yourself in that way, you will continue having lack of confidence and feeling not fulfilled. It is us that has to love us first. I got to love me more than I love you. And from there, my overflow of love, then I can love on you. My overflow, then I can do that. And that's what abundance is. Abundance is health, wealth, love, peace, joy, purpose, from me being a full cup, from my full cup, my full cup of wealth, then I can help you financially. As Black people, a lot of us is broke and we helping you, and we broke and you broke and we broke together, and we try and put 2 cents together instead of us sitting back and really building the wealth like we should. I help you from my overflow, from my abundance. That's why I do what I do. And so today is going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome today. The first person that I have, sorry guys, I got a whole lot of stuff going on over here. The first person that I am going to be introducing today, it is I have the honor of being able to work with her. I love working with her. She's amazing. She has a heart of gold. She runs Glorious Hands Girls Academy, and I'll let you tell her story about what she does with that. But she is just awesome. She mentors me. I help her, but it's a mentoring where we help ages 10 to 19, I believe. And so I just want you guys to I'll introduce her, and I want you guys to really listen to. I have a passion, such a passion for young girls, because what I've learned is that when we help young girls, then young girls don't have to grow up and be broken women. It's much harder to change a grown woman's mindset than it is to shape and form the life of little girls. So I'm going to introduce her, Miss Kimi Dante. I'm about to bring you in the room, young lady. Come on in, girl. Hey.
Hello, hi.
How are you?
I'm doing so good. I mean, this is going to be powerful. I'm excited about being here.
Thank you. Thank you for being a part of this. So I'm going to let you go ahead. I'm actually going to step out the room, and I'm going to let you go ahead and take the stage, and you go ahead and you let these women know what it is that you do.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much, Amber, for the opportunity. So I would just like to thank the Lord for creating this platform, because I truly believe that it was ordained by him to do so. From pain to purpose, that means a lot to me. That resonates in my heart, because back in 2010 was when I was that person that I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I know I was working this job, I was making good money, but I'm like, there has to be more than just, your hands are just coming towards yourself, but it's really no true fulfillment. If you can testify with that type, I understand. Like, it's just all about me. Like right now, my life is just centered around me, but I know that there has to be more. And to me, that was the Lord speaking to my heart that, Kimi, I created you for more than this. Even though you are successful at what you're doing, there is something greater for you in store. So around that time, I really started to seek God, and I started like pray. And I was just like, you know what, Lord, whatever you created me to do, I want to do just that. I want to do, when you made me, what did you desire me to do? But I know it wasn't to just live a life of overflow and it all comes back to me. I know that's not the desire, because it's kingdom work. So when he began to speak and I really began to pray, I began to fast and I began to seek him, he began to say, you know what, you're asking me to speak, but it's going to take some action. Because how many know that when the Lord starts speaking, it's going to take some action, because he's not speaking to himself. So that means it's going to take some work. So how many is willing to put in that work? So the Lord began to speak, you guys, I'm telling you. So one day I'm sitting at my mother's house. My mother's an educator, so it's nothing out of the norm for, people to come over to my mom's house. The little kids, oh, Miss Tillman, I have a report card. Can you see my report card? Oh, okay, do you have some candy for me? This is the norm. Okay, but on this particular day, I heard my mother say, no, sweetie, no, I can't take you. No, I cannot. So I jumped up and I'm like, well, what's going on? My mom said, no, I'm used to yes, yes, yes. But what's going on? So I went to the door. Here stands a little 10-year-old girl with a certificate in her hand. So she has this certificate in her hand and she's like, I need somebody to take me to this award ceremony and my mother can't take me. When I tell you guys, that knock on the door was like this knock on my heart, and God was saying, this is your purpose. This is your purpose. I need you to walk in it. And I'm telling you, from that day forth, it was just like lights, camera, action. I just felt like, oh, Kimi, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And I did all the paperwork, and Glorious Hands was birthed. So Glorious Hands, woo! Glorious Hands is a girls mentoring academy right here in Sanford, Florida. So what we do is we answer all of those little knocks all of those little, I might need some additional support for girls ages 10 through 19. So we're that nurturing safe haven for all girls ages 10 through 19. We have guest speakers that come out. We take them on field trips. We take them to award ceremony. We go out, if they're singing in their choir, we want to go out and support them in whatever way that we can, because we know that it truly takes a village. And I believe that parents cannot do it all. We need all hands on deck when it comes to raising our children, and especially our little girls. So that's what Glorious Hands Mentoring Academy is about. And we are excited to be able to answer all of these little knocks that come through and knock on our door and say, you know what? I need a positive place for my child to attend. I need somebody that's leading by example, not just talking or doing it for a paycheck, but I need somebody that's truly doing it from the heart. And that's what Glorious Hands is. So I just want to thank you all. Our website, if you would like more information about us, our website is www.glorioushandsinc@gmail.com. We're also all over social media, Facebook, Instagram. You can find us, and feel free to give us a call, or feel free to visit our calendar on our website and come out to some of our events. We welcome you. Thank you again, Amber.
All right, girl, that was good. So you guys thank her for joining us, because this is important that we are pouring in to our young girls, because those young girls are going to be young women. And the more we pour into them when they're young, like I said, there will be less broken women in the world. And that is so important for us. So what she does is amazing. It is more of us needed. Also, if you can see that's scrolling down at the bottom within the Facebook group, there is a link for you guys to be able to donate to Glorious Hands, because it's a nonprofit organization. So how she helps is by donations. So you guys go ahead and donate whatever you can donate. It's fine. But what I will say is I did post in there that those who donate at least $25 will receive this. Can you see it? Well, this ebook, it's 5 steps to embrace your weaknesses. So you'll receive this as a download, an e-guide download for you if you donate at least $25. So thank you so much, Kimi Dante, for joining us. I enjoy you, and I will be seeing you Wednesday, girl. Bye.
Okay, see you.
All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoy that. So our next speaker, hold on, let me get the bios together. All right. I got to make sure I introduce her properly. Okay. All right now. So our next speaker is Mylera Green. All right. Mylera is the founder of M Green Enterprises, LLC. And as a psychotherapist, Reiki 1 and Reiki 2, which she's going to have to explain to me what that is, because I never even heard of Reiki. So practitioner, author, inspirational speaker, life skills workshop facilitator, and career and life coach. She is fiercely committed to guiding youth and young adults ages 13 to 25, as well as women to achieve their fullest potential so they can have the life and the career of their dreams. Without ado, let me bring on Miss Mylera. Come on in, girl. Oh, you're muted. Yeah.
There we go. Hello, everybody. Hey, Sunshine. How are you?
I'm good. Okay. I'm so ready to hear what you about to say, because I know you about to bring it for them. I'm going to go ahead and step backstage, and I'm going to let you have it. All right.
All right. So what's funny is when people... Oh, can you hear me? Okay, awesome. What's funny is when people are reading my bio, I'm like, oh, is she talking about me? So y'all have to bear with me here. But yes, my name is Mylera, and all the things that she read out to you are all amazing. But what I simply do is I serve as the bridge between the caterpillar and the butterfly. That is what I've had dedicated my life to doing. And let me make sure you guys can hear me here. Awesome. Okay, so where this was birthed at is the woman that you guys see today is not who I've always been. This confident, this powerhouse, this light in a dark room, this has not always been my story. This was birthed from me being able to find my purpose, me being able to see what it is that I'm supposed to be doing with my life. And the amazing part of this is if I didn't have my story, my purpose would have not been able to be fulfilled. Because without that story, the diamond that you see would have never had pressure. Without that story, the harvest that you see would have never been watered by the tears of pain. Without that story, the person that's actually able to show up for other people would have not been able to be the woman that you see today. So I am so honored and grateful for this platform, because you are right, that there are a lot of people that are out here broken and they don't even know it. They have no idea. There's a lot of people out here that are at Butterfly and they don't even know that they have holes in their wings. So when they're trying to fly to the next level, they're continuing to fall back down to the ground because they're not seeing it. So who is Malira? What did I have to go through to become this woman, this confidence coach, this psychotherapist, and all the great things? I am a survivor. I am a survivor at its best. And what I always tell people is when individuals have been victims like myself of sexual abuse and assault, we're quick to ask victimizing questions. Well, what did you wear? What did you do? What could you done differently? However, if there is someone that has a terminal illness that walks into a doctor's office, you don't ask them, well, what did you eat that led to that? You just are there as support. And that is what I have committed my life to doing, is being that person that is there as a support. So what's my story? So I was actually introduced to sexual experiences at 3 years old by family, both sides of my family. And I did not know that this was wrong until I started sharing with people at school. So now I'm living this lifestyle and not even knowing that this lifestyle is incorrect. For me, it was our way of play. If this is your experience, I just want you to raise your hand. Why? It's going to be a method to my madness, because there's a lot of us that has experienced this style of play and we don't even realize that it's traumatic at all, until eventually you're growing up as an adult and now you have these different things that you do as a habit based off of that experience. So let me go and check the chat real quick, guys. So I want you guys to really look at how, you know, that experience may have impacted you. So here I am, being 3 years old, exposed to these type of experiences. So when I got to third grade, I remember sharing with one of my friends, like, hey, I play mommy and daddy with my best friend. Didn't know that this was wrong. But then what this did was it opened up the door for me being bullied. And what people don't realize is bullying is another trauma, because now you have people speaking words over your life that you end up carrying with you for the rest of your life. So now I am battling, not even just now finding out that this lifestyle that was introduced to me was wrong, but now I have these other terms and things that are thrown on me that I don't even know what they are. So now I'm struggling with trying to fight over this sexual orientation that people now put me on from third grade to sixth grade, okay? I want you to follow me. There's a method to this madness here. I want you to go on this journey with me. So then now I'm in sixth grade and I'm trying to get over what people are calling me based off a traumatic experience that I didn't even know was trauma until I became an adult. So now I'm in seventh grade, switch school districts, and I'm like, finally, nobody's going to call me gay. Okay, I want y'all to go with me here. Nobody's going to call me this. So then now I'm finding my power in boys do X, Y, and Z to me. Because now I have this message in my mind that my body is not worth being respected. I have this message in my mind, this core belief that I am not lovable, that anybody that sees me, all they want is a touch. That was the story that was in my mind. So then now I'm trying to find who I am, but there's this trauma that is following me. It's this story that is following me. It's haunting me, but I don't even know what it is. And then I get to 13 years old and I lose my virginity to who I thought was my first love. And now I'm confused. And not even months before that, I literally took the vow of purity. My family was very into, you know, hey, your body is the temple. And I made a commitment and I end up throwing that commitment away because, again, it went into that core belief of the only thing that I can offer someone is my body. And that was not true. But again, I did not know that. So then what really got me was when I was 16 years old, I had went 2 years of being celibate and I'm excited and I'm sharing with this young man all my excitement and he took advantage of it. I opened up my heart and he took advantage of it. And through all my life, I literally hated who I was. I had so many negative core beliefs that was attached to me that it was end up me walking in so much pain and hurt and anger. So then depression began to seek in and anxiety began to seek in. And what really was horrible was the fact that Malira's the girl that comes from a 2-parent household. Malira's the girl that if anybody needs her, we got her. So when I was starting to say these things are showing up, nobody wanted to show up because it's like, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You got both your parents. Nothing happened to you, girl. Don't worry about it. So then now here's another level of trauma because now everything that I am experiencing is now building up. Everything that I am experiencing now, I have to deal with it on my own. So when I was 17 years old, I didn't want to take it anymore. And I want y'all to go with me here. I did not want to take it anymore. But in that moment where I chose death, someone else chose life for me. And how did I get to that point? I had to realize that there was a balance that I had to find between healing and still living. It's okay to be alive, but it's better to live. And in that moment at 17, when someone's choosing life for me, I remember looking in the mirror and my whole life went through my eyes. Everything I've ever experienced, all of the jokes, all of the hate, all of the experiences that I did because I felt like all I had was my body to give because of the trauma that I experienced. All of that flashed before my eyes at 17, and I looked in the mirror and I said, I can't keep doing this. And that's when my purpose came. And that is when I realized, yo, my life is worth living. I want y'all to do something for me real quick, okay? I want you to take a deep breath with me and release it. That breath that we all just took was just someone's last breath. So I don't want to hear that you ain't got no purpose. That breath right there, that's your purpose. Your story may be different from my story. Your story may be different than all the ladies that's going to hop up here and bless and grace the screen. But that breath that you just took, that is your purpose. And in that moment where someone chose life for me, I found my purpose in that moment. And you might be asking, well, how, Malira? How? And let me just see what I got going on here. I want to be interactive with you guys as well. You know, you may be like asking me how did I do that? I literally had to stop running away. I had to stop chasing. And the first thing I had to do was I had to acknowledge the elephant in the room. What's the elephant in the room, Malira? So most people think about the elephant in the room as the size of the elephant. I don't know about you, but I don't want to get set on by an elephant. So trust me, I get you. However, when we're talking about the elephant in the room, we're talking about the memory of the elephant, where everything that we are pushing underneath the rug, all of the things like I know in our community, when I say our, I mean African-American community, we have the what happens in this house stays in this house. Why? Because most of the people that was victimizing our children were people that shouldn't have been. So if I would have spoke out, then now I got to speak out about my family member. And for me, it's better to have the man in the house than to have the man in jail, or to have the aunt in the house and to have her in jail, because my family was more important than the story. Y'all catch that? But what I had to do was I had to acknowledge my elephant in the room, because what was happening was the more and more I didn't acknowledge that elephant, the bigger the elephant kept getting until it pushed me out and I was literally about to commit suicide. But I couldn't do that no more. So I had to acknowledge my story. I had to be open and honest to say, look, at 3 years old, this is what I was exposed to and I shouldn't have been. And because of that, I've taken in my mind that all I got to offer this world is this body of mine. And you add on the fact I haven't always looked this way, guys. Last October, I was 304 pounds. So then you couple with the body image issues. And just like we're sitting here and we're talking about those core beliefs, those limiting beliefs, what I was telling myself was my size was so bad that I didn't mind what anybody else was doing. That was more trauma. But now that I've allowed myself to talk about the elephant in the room, and this is one thing I want you guys to take with you, just because you're ready to heal, don't mean that everybody else attached to you is. So my healing, I wasn't forcing anybody else to heal. And all my books, all my stories, the things that I am sharing with people, I'm not going to give you guys names because it's not my place to make them heal. So a lot of people that are on this healing journey become angry because the other people aren't healing. It's your own journey. And I did it with acknowledging that and healing through my storytelling. The next thing that I had to do was forgive myself. But how was I able to do that? I had to find balance in my life. So I'm going to take y'all through this activity. So I want y'all to hold your hands in front of you. They should be about the same length. If not, I got a little bit of questions of what you did last night, but I'll leave that alone. So just walk with me shortly. So I want you to lift your right hand up. We're going to push it forward 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Put your hand out. The one you just worked on should be shorter than the other arm if you did it right, okay? And what tends to happen in our life, we only focus on one side of healing. We only focus on the one side of healing. That's the anger side. The why did this happen to me? But we never really sit down for real and try to learn the lesson so that the rest of our life we can live freely. So let me balance the other side because I don't have insurance for all y'all and I don't want y'all falling out after this. So let's put this left hand up. We're going to go ahead and push it forward. 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You put it out. You should be nice and balanced, guys. That is what healing is. Healing is not being angry. Healing is not asking, why did this happen to me? Healing is finding purpose in your pain. Healing is literally celebrating the fact that I still have life to live. And there are so many of us that blame ourselves for the roles that we played in certain things. I was that. Being 16, being sexually assaulted, I kept saying, Malara, there was many parts of this night you could have said, okay, I'm done. But you didn't. But once I said, no, I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask to go in that room at 3 years old and someone to teach me how to pleasure people. I didn't ask for at 16 to be taken advantage of. I didn't ask for that. So because I didn't, guess what? I can forgive myself and keep walking in my healing. I was able to find balance. There was no more anger. I'm not angry. I'm not after you. I'm about to live my best life. And that is how we heal. And then when you get from that, you get to recognize when victimhood is where one is living. When you have a mindset of a victim, you stay anchored there. You are only a victim in the moment of life that happened. Once that moment is over, you get to say that you are a survivor. Just like we celebrate survivors that have overcome cancer and terminal illnesses, I celebrate you today. I celebrate you right now. And there's many of y'all that's like, well, Malara, how can I do the last step and choose freedom when I'm so angry? And that person never apologized. Well, I'm glad you asked, because before I get off here, because I'm almost done with my time, I'm going to apologize to you. Dear survivor, you are more than enough. Your life's experiences do not define who you are, but cultivated the very essence of you. If you have never received an apology from the person who victimized you, I take the time out to send a heartfelt apology on their behalf, because you deserve to be free from the entrapment of their egregious actions. I apologize for the years of pain you have endured as a result of that moment of stolen innocence you will never get back. I apologize for all of the decisions and actions you made that were more detrimental to your well-being or that of others as a result of trying to find normalcy again. I apologize to you for the years you have spent in bondage, trying to figure out what you did to attract such experiences. I apologize to you for the years of self-love you missed. I apologize to you for the years of self-love you missed. I apologize to you for the years of self-love you missed out on because the message you kept hearing was you did not deserve love. Please know you were only a victim in the moment of abuse. But as I read this to you, my friend, my sister, queen, You are a survivor. Just like survivors of a major illness get celebrated when they go into remission. I celebrate you today because you are no longer a victim. You are the best you there is, and you are free. Walk in your freedom. It's time. It's time. I'm not a confidence coach because I have an LCSW. I'm not a confidence coach because of my degree and my education. I'm a confidence coach because the pain that I had to endure was not a loss. It was a lesson. And now I get to be able to be a teacher and hold my hand out and serve as the bridge between your caterpillar moment and your butterfly freedom release. It's time, y'all. It's time, y'all. If I can do this thing, you can do it. So how can you get to this place? I'm going to quickly review it here because I know my time is almost up now. Is acknowledge the elephant in the room. What has happened to you? What is your story? Be unashamed of your story because it's just that. It's just the story. It's not the right now. It's not your final destination. Forgive yourself for the role you feel that you played. When you said no, when that person was supposed to have been watching you and they didn't, it was not your fault. So forgive yourself for whatever you feel you played in it. Recognize when victimhood is where one is living. So now you can actually choose freedom and live a life that you're worth living. Why? Because you are enough. Not because of anything special you did, but because our Creator made you in His likeness. And if He is perfect, then you are perfection. While we have imperfect moments, to remember to tap in. So sometimes you may just need to be tapping in. It's time for you to tap in. Your freedom lies in you tapping back in, man. I love y'all, queens. I am so grateful for this opportunity. And I will never change my story because if I do, I will not have the opportunity to bless and grace you. And I love y'all. Y'all are the reason why I'm alive. Y'all allow me to provide a solution to a problem I see in this world. So we are all survivors and we are conquerors, no longer victims. Thank you so much. I appreciate this. And I just appreciate your heart, Amber. Keep going. And all of y'all, if y'all need me, just follow me. I'm the only Malira in this world. So go on Facebook. Malira is where you find me at, or M Green Enterprises LLC. I do have the I'm Enough movement. So if you know that you're enough after this, go ahead and get you a t-shirt or something. But I love y'all. Peace and blessings. Thank you.
All right, guys. Oh my God. I took so much from that. Oh, I'm dancing. I'm dancing because I am enough. Because I am enough. Listen, I don't need no music. I'm going to dance to the words she just gave me because I know that I am enough. This is why we do what we do. If you see the title of it, I entitled this Pain to Purpose for a reason, because it is our pain that births our purpose. That is why we went through it. It's not, why did this happen to me? No. What do I take from this? What is the lesson I need to learn? What am I going to do from here? I was molested as a child. I had a single parent and my dad abandoned me. So I got daddy issues. I was neglected. I was homeless. All the things you went through and overcame or trying to overcome, then we look back and you help those that need that support as well. But you don't sit in the pain. You don't just stay there. Like she said, I don't just sit and be, woe is me. Oh my God, I can't believe this happened to me. I can't believe I was pregnant at 11 years old and had a child at 12. My firstborn daughter at 12 years old. So we're 12 years apart. She's 23. I'm 35. Come on now. And people looking at me when we see us walking like, oh, is that your sister? No, this ain't my sister. This is my daughter right here. But I know you putting two and two together and saying, oh, you must have been fast. No, sir, that's not me. Or no, ma'am, that wasn't me. But it's not my job to tell my story to everybody. I tell my story to the people who need to hear it. Pain to purpose. What painful situation have you went through that's going to birth your purpose? How you find your purpose is your talents, your gifts, your experiences. All three of those helps you find what you are purposed for, but you have to be intentional. You got to be intentional about it. It's not just going to happen overnight. You're not just going to be able to just do it. You got to be willing to put in the work. If you're not going to put in the work for you, all you guys that's watching right now, that's looking for some change, that's looking for real growth, that's tired of being stuck, if you're not going to put in the work for you, then you watching for no reason. What's the point of you watching if you're not going to take some gems from me, from Malira, from the other speakers that we're speaking? What's the point of you watching us to support us? I get it. I thank you. I appreciate that. But we're not just doing this for support. We're doing this because we know that you women need help. You need guidance. You need growth. You need to see that you are not the only one that's been in this situation. You're not the only one that's been abused in a relationship. Some of you may be being abused right now as you're watching this. And I'm going to tell you, sis, you are strong enough to walk away from that situation because you do not need that man the way you think you need him. Okay, I don't know why I just said that. I just felt somebody needed to hear it. But I just want you guys to know that you are valuable. You are capable. At the end of this, once it's all over, I'll give you guys some affirmations that help me along the way, that help really, that I still do every single day, that just helps me, because this is daily. I didn't become who I am just by one time. All of a sudden, I became this person. One time, I got on my knees and I prayed. No. And here's another thing about Christians, and I'm going to step on some toes here, and I'm sorry. But here's another thing about Christians is that we pray and pray and pray and expect stuff to just happen, but we don't work for it. Faith without works is dead. God is not Santa Claus. He's not about to come drop a gift underneath your tree because you want it. If you want it bad enough, you got to work for it. And it's hard. It's difficult. It's hard. It was hard being the person I am today. It's hard today because you get so much criticism from people saying, oh, she thinks she's better than everybody. Who she thinks she is? Or especially people who used to know me when I was younger. And they're like, oh, well, who gives her, who makes her this special person? I know where she came from. I know what she used to do. I know that she used to be abused in a relationship and with this man. I know that she used to live on low income. I know that she used to get food stamps. But now she thinks she can pour into us and help us. Yes, sis, I can. You want to know why? Because I did the work. I do the work for me every single day. This is daily process. Faith and works, prayer and work. You got to do the work. If you are serious about real change, if you are serious about real growth, you got to do the work. And I know a lot of people aren't able to do it by themselves. I couldn't do it by myself. I started at the beginning doing it by myself, reading and praying and watching YouTube videos. But once I got the money, I got a coach, because you need coaching. I got therapy and I got a coach. You need all of that. It is hard retraining your mind. It's hard resetting the thought process that you've always had about yourself. People have poured into us all these negative beliefs of what we think about ourselves, that now that's what we think. We get so stuck in that, and we have no self-awareness that this is our thought process now. So it takes someone else. It takes a coach like me to tell you, sis, you operate out of fear. You're not operating out of who God called you to be. You operate out of the things that people told you, that man told you that you was nothing, that your environment that you're surrounding yourself in, everybody, all y'all doing the same thing. So you think that it's normal, when really dysfunctional relationships, there ain't nothing normal about them. But you in it because all your friends is in it. And you ain't going to never see better until you get out of that environment. You start choosing some real friends. Not saying get rid of your friends. I'm just saying you need to do something different than you always done if you really want change, if you really want success, if you really want to be a millionaire, if you really want that big house. You got to get out of your own way. Let God have his way with you and start pouring into yourself the same way you are pouring into everybody else. Just like I heard so many times, and I used to say this myself, I love hard. This is why I don't want another man, because I love hard and they can't accept my love. But the problem is I was loving them hard, but I wasn't loving myself hard. How am I gonna love somebody else hard and I don't even love myself hard? I got to love me before I can love somebody else. I got to. All right. So I hope you guys take some things from what Malira said, because it is important that we really accept our brokenness, accept our trauma, and we do the work to become healed and whole. All right. So right now I have a brief intermission. I actually had another speaker that was supposed to be speaking, but I'm not sure, she's not in right now. So that's okay. That's fine. We're going to keep things going. So I have a poem that I want to read for you guys. It is by, and excuse me, because I cannot pronounce her name properly. It's difficult, but I'm going to try my best to pronounce it properly. Her name is Ntozake Shange. Ntozake Shange. Her birth name is Paulette Linda Williams, but she changed her name to Ntozake Shange, which is a Zulu name. Ntozake means she comes with her own things, and Shange translates as one who walks with lions. So real quick about Ntozake Shange is she ushered an entire generation of Black women into liberation. She wrote for those of us who didn't yet exist, so we could have something here when we arrive. That something was a vision for our lives that was bigger than our trauma. A vision that stitched together the words that had been snatched from our grandmother's tongues. She brought them back to life with vivid color, detail, and pain-searing truth that forced the world to look at our humanity in the face. Through her words, she said all the things that needed to be said. She wrote a psalm and sang a Black girl blues. She resurrected the weary souls of Black women by breathing holy life into them, one stanza at a time. And for this today, we celebrate Ntozake Shange as the patron saint of Black girl healing. Thank you for serving us with such fierceness, dear sister. So I'm going to play her poem. Her poem is actually called Laying On of Hands. And if you've seen Tyler Perry's For Colored Girls, this poem was read in that movie. So that movie was based on her poetry. So let me share my screen quick so we can watch this video. All right. Let me tell you why I love him. Because he is the truth.
A laying on of hands. I was missing something. Something so important. Something promised. Fingers near my forehead. Strong, cool, moving, making me whole, since pure, laying on the hands. I know about laying on bodies, laying out of men, bringing them all my flesh self, and some of my pleasure. Being taken full ego wet like I get sometimes. I was missing something. A laying on of hands. Not a man laying on. Not my mama holding me tight, saying I'm always gonna be her girl. A laying on of hands. The holiness of myself released. I sat up one night, walked in the boarding house, screaming, crying. The ghost of another woman who was missing what I was missing. I wanted to jump out of my bones and be done with myself. Leave me alone and go on in the wind. It was too much. I fell into a numbness till the only tree I could see took me up in her branches, held me in the wind, made me undo. That chill at daybreak, Sun wrapped me up, swinging rose light everywhere. The sky laid over me like a million men. I was cold. I was burning up. A child in endlessly weaving garments for the moon in my tears. I found God in myself. And I loved her. I loved her fiercely.
All right. Okay, so that, like I said, that poem was by Ituzaki Sean Gay, and it's called Laying on Hands. And I played that poem because I thought she really put the words together really well about how, as women, we look for our identity in somebody else. I look for my identity in a man. I look for my identity in the outside world. I look for my identity and to be validated by other people. I look to be validated by the likes that I get on Facebook. If I don't get enough likes, then they must not have liked my post, or they must not be watching me. Or Instagram, if I'm not getting enough loves or whatever on Instagram. So she's when she said I found God in her and I loved her fiercely, what I took from that was that once she turned, instead of looking to the outside world, she looked within. Who am I within? Who is this woman within? Because there is somebody inside all of you. I promise you this. But it's up to you to have to do the work to figure out who she is. Who are you? And here's the prayer that I said to God, and I still say today, because I feel like I know there's so much more that's within me. That's just birth, that's pregnant, that I'm pregnant with, not literally pregnant. I'm saying success, but there's so much I'm pregnant with that I have not birthed yet. So what I say in my prayer is, I pray to God, I say, God, who am I? Show me me. Show me the woman that you want me to be. Because when I become her, I know that is self-fulfilling. And when I am self-fulfilled, I am self-fulfilled right now. But each day as I'm becoming more self-fulfilled, I find more peace, more joy. Even in chaos, I am able to have a peace of mind, no matter what goes on around me, no matter how many things are thrown at me, obstacles thrown at me. I still find peace in that. I was watching this really quick. I was watching this conference last week, and the conference, this guy, Dr. Frazier, was on, and Dr. Frazier had a great analogy. He said, we must climb mountains, and the mountains comes at us. The mountains, to climb a mountain, think about this, to climb a mountain, if the mountain was straight, would we be able to climb it? If it was no rocks, no nothing, if it was just a straight path just to the top, no, you wouldn't ever be able to get to the mountain. You'll be sliding down. You wouldn't even be able to take a first step. But because of all the obstacles, because of the rocks and the twists and the turns, you're able to grab a little bit at a time of each part of that mountain. And it is not what life is. Life is full of obstacles, twists, and turns. And it is for us to be able to shift and pivot and move when something happens. That's what we have to do as people. When COVID happened, a lot of us had to pivot. Okay, like for me, a lot of speaking engagements that I had that was in person, now it's virtual. This year is my Truth Moments. Last year was my very first one. It was in person. This year, I did it virtual. I wasn't going to do this, but then I was like, you know what? Just like everyone else has to pivot, I got to pivot, because I know just because I'm not able to see you guys and pour into you guys in person, I'm still able to bring it, and I'm going to do the best I can to still give you the experience that I would give to you in person as I am virtually. You have to pivot in life. Resilience and grit is things that we have to learn to have as people. We have to learn to be able to get through and get over each thing. Take that lesson. All right, dang, I lost my job. What is the lesson from this? What am I supposed to do from here? Am I supposed to find another job? And do I need to be in another position? Should I be doing that business that I've been so scared to do because I didn't think no one's going to buy from me? I didn't think I was good enough. I don't know if I'm good enough. Is it possible for me to do this? If you have the desire within you, God didn't put that desire in you for no reason. He put that desire in you because it's what you're supposed to do. And you got to get over that fear mindset that you can't do it and realize that it's a process. I became who I am today by a process. I took, like Martin Luther King says, you don't have to see the whole staircase before you take the first step. You got to take the first step. And from there, you take another step. And from there, you take another step. And each step you take, you birth another part of you. You find another part of you. You become a little bit more creative. You're like, dang, I didn't know that could be me. Sometimes I wake up in the morning like, wow, Amber, you really doing this, girl. I'll be shocking myself. But I know it's something that I need to do and it's important. All right, guys. So that's enough about me. That's enough. Our next speaker. Hold on. Let me get the bios. Let me get the bios ready. Let me see, what time is it? It looks like we might be a little bit ahead of schedule? Yeah, we're a couple minutes ahead of schedule. That's okay. I see her in here. So our next speaker is Dr. Rainier. Rainier Amin, also known as the Pink Love Specialist, is a sought-after author and speaker in the areas of trauma, including relationship, sexuality, and religious faith-based. She also facilitates workshops across the country, leading people from pain to healing. Rainier is an advocate for spiritual healing to the LGBTQIA+ faith community and the founder of LGBTQ Faith Matters. As initiative to help heal LGBTQ faith trauma in communities of color, she holds a Doctor of Ministry degree as well as a Master's of Arts in Religious Education from the New York Theology Seminary. All right, I'm gonna bring her on. Hey, girl.
Hi. Y'all telling y'all stories had me almost in tears.
I know, I'm like, oh, Jesus. Yes.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Thank you for saying yes to this, to doing this, and thank you for what you do, because what you do is important. You know, I made sure as I picked women that was doing different walks of life so that we can be able to speak to a multitude of people, because we're not all the same. And what you do, a lot of people aren't doing. So I'm so grateful that. Ooh, it looks like we got lost a little bit. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I was over here like, no, but I can hear you now.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and step on backstage, girl, and I'm gonna let you have it. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
First, again, I just want to wave to everybody and say good afternoon. I'm sending you love all the way from New York City. I, again, want to say thank you to Amber Nicole Speaks for allowing me to be part of this event. And to all the speakers that have come before and to all the speakers that will come, thank you for allowing me to share your energy and to share your space. So again, my name is Dr. Rainier Amin, and I am the Pink Love Specialist. But what I do, as well as I'm a relationship development coach. So I help individuals and couples build their relationships internally and externally. So it's like within and throughout. And so today I was trying to figure out how I wanted to engage this conversation with you around, from pain to purpose, because there are so many levels. There's so many levels when trauma walks in the room. There's so many levels when pain walks in the room. And I said, you know what? I had to seek spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you just have to pause. And it became clear to me that in this next few minutes, I'm going to sit you in the chair. I'm going to sit you in the coaching chair. And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. And then you help me talk to the individual that's sitting across from you. So say you're in your space and you're waiting for your client to come in, and they sit down across from you, and a 45-year-old woman of color sits across from you. And she looks at you and she says, I have no purpose. My life has been full of pain. I have no purpose. There's nothing that you're going to say to me that's going to get me to pray. There's nothing that you're going to say to me that's going to get me to want to show up. I'm tired. I've had a life. What do you say when you look at her and she says, let me tell you a little bit about my story before you try to tell me what to do or ask me, how does that make me feel? Let me share a little bit with you. If she sits across from me, she says, so when I was born, I was given up for adoption. My mother just dropped me off to my great aunt and my great uncle's house and left me to be. And although I would grow up knowing who my family was, I would be about 7 or 8 years old before a family member in anger would tell me who my mother was and who my mother wasn't. Then the next year I would come home after going to school and my dad, the only dad that I've known, is dead. What would you do if she sat across from you and said, you know, then I would go on to be sexually assaulted. And then I would go on and my biological mother, grandmother, sister, and brother would be killed in an arson. I also lost 2 children. I also dropped out of high school. I've also been mentally institutionalized. What would you say if she said to you that I've been divorced a couple times? I've been in domestically violent situations. I've been in a domestic violence relationship. I've been homeless. I've been addicted to crack and cocaine. Doctor, what can you tell me? What kind of conversation can you have with me? Because I'm bipolar. I have chronic illness. I have fibromyalgia. I have inflammatory arthritis. I have had to give up things about myself. I've had to give up material things about myself. What could you say to me that would allow me to live in my purpose? I've had children die, Doc. And every day I get up, I don't know if I want to live any longer. And if that didn't do it, I had to have a full hysterectomy. I had to have a full hysterectomy. And on that table, I almost died. So you tell me, how do I move from this pain to purpose? What advice, help me out, because I'm looking into the chat. What advice would you give her? Would you look at her and feel a little bad for her? Because sometimes it's hard to engage in helping someone when we can't understand, well, how did you get there? How did this happen? Tell me a little bit more. Sometimes you don't get the more. Sometimes all you get is the trauma, you get the pain. But at the same time, there's something that moves, because I'm gonna tell you what I would tell her. I would tell her that there's something that moves through the pain. I would tell her that even if in that moment you may not see it, there will come a day that you will look back on it and you will understand why it had to intricately be into your story. You'll look back on that moment and you'll say, now I understand. You know, the sacred text of the Bible says all things work together for the good of them. We don't always get it when it's happening. We don't always understand when it's going on. That's right. Someone said your life story is to help someone else. Because that's what I would say. I would say that because this individual went on, and these are so amazing cars riding by. They want to hear the story as I'm telling it. I would tell her to keep on living because her story is not over. And I can tell you her story is not over, because that is not just one part of her life. She would go on to write books about her experience. She would go on to be healed in ways that man cannot understand. She will go on to meet amazing people, go back to school, get degrees. She would go on to sit right here in this moment at this time to tell you her story. Those days, let me be real with you, those days were real days for me. Those days, I didn't have any answers. I didn't have any answers. I had a pit crew, my supporters, people that showed up for me, that loved on me when I couldn't even love on myself. I had therapists and coaches and people that professionally gave me the tools to unpack and move on. I had spiritual leaders that prayed for me, that talked to me, and that covered me. When all those things were happening for me, I was somewhere on the floor. I can tell you in all honesty, I can remember like it was yesterday. I can remember laying on the floor, balled up in a ball. And all I could do for 3 or 4 days is just cry. I can remember just speaking a language of defeat, saying that I can't do it. It's not possible. It can't change. It won't happen. Telling myself that I was stupid, telling myself I wasn't good enough, telling myself I wasn't worth it, telling myself that God doesn't love me and the world doesn't need me. But see, I had made 3 errors. And I'm going to tell you what those 3 errors are, and then I'm going to go about my way. First, I thought that my past story was my end story. I didn't realize that the story keeps getting written. Every day that I get up, every day I take a breath of life, the story keeps getting written. With every failure, with every success, with every pause and every go, the story keeps getting written, and it keeps getting written until I take that last breath. But then the story gets to live on in my legacy. See, the story lives on in your legacy, in your family, in your children, in your vision, in your goals, in everything you write, everything you paint. The story lives on in your legacy. Number 2, holding grudges simply weighed me down, and no one else. And no one else. My godfather used to say, you'll be home miserable and they'll be at the beach having a good time. See, I couldn't go through life just mad, because mad internally sets mad intentions, which creates situations that's built around being mad. It's energetically draining, it's exhausting, and it was affecting to my mental health. So no, I had to lay it down. It took work, but I had to lay it down. I'm not saying I was always forgiven quickly, but I had to let go of the grudge, because holding on to the grudge was holding on to me. And number 3, I had to realize that everything can be transmuted. Everything can be transmuted. It can be changed. It can be turned into something good. It can turn into something that is powerful. It can turn into something that can show up in a way that you did not imagine. Everything can be transmuted. Even the stuff that you think is just the lowest, down low, dirtiest, shameful, guiltiest part of your soul can be transmuted. It can be used for your purpose. So before you are able to shift into purpose, you have to be willing to let go of pain. I do not believe that God forces you to do anything. You have to be willing to let go of the pain. Over time, things will begin to evolve, to resolve, and change and shift your mindset around things. But before I go, because my time is always up, almost up, I want to leave you with one thing. Stop weaponizing your trauma against yourself. There's enough people out there that'll do it for you. There's enough situations out there that will make you feel, try to attempt to make you feel less than. Stop weaponizing your trauma against you. You're no longer a victim. You are a survivor. You are a warrior. You are royalty. You are pressing through. You have pressed through. If it happened yesterday, then you've pressed through till today. You deserve to give yourself love. You deserve to give yourself peace. You deserve it because you've come through too much. You deserve the kindness and the love. Even if you didn't feel it out there, you deserve to feel it in here. So stop weaponizing your trauma against yourself. That's the one thing, if I can leave you with nothing else, I want to leave you with. Because you deserve your most amazing, most powerful, most beautiful self. You deserve to be loved, to be cared for, to be encouraged and uplifted. So that's how, for me, just today, how I take pain to purpose, looking in the mirror every day and reminding myself that I've been through too much to go back, and I've been through enough to be better to myself than anyone out there could ever be. So I thank you for your time today. I thank you for sharing in the comments, and I thank you for your energy and your love. Many blessings. Be blessed.
All right. Thank you so much for that. That was awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So that was amazing. I love the fact how she said that you deserve, because that is what we as women struggle with. We don't think we deserve greatness. We don't think we deserve it because we've been through so much. Oh, I've been too sexually active. I had sex with too many men. So I don't deserve to have a husband that really loves me and pours into me because I've done too much. I'm too damaged as a woman. That is not who you are. That is decisions that you made temporarily, but you can always shift the trajectory of where you are going. But you have to be intentional about moving that. So what she said is amazing. Like we as women have to really be mindful of the things that we go through and know that that is just part of your story, but that's not who you are. You are not the little broken girl. You are not the situation you went through. Like I said earlier today, take that lesson. What is this trying to teach me? The things that I went through, me being molested as a child, me being abandoned, me being in an abusive relationship, taught me that I need to grow my self-worth, because I don't have no confidence in myself if I am accepting just anything and no standards in relationships that I'm in. So that is what my self-discovery journey went through on becoming the most confident person I am today. So now you cannot tell me nothing. I don't care. My who I am and what I think of myself does not waver on what people think about me. You can say what you want and how you experience me. And when someone says something negative to me, I say that's more a reflection of who you are than that is about me, because I know that I'm the bomb. I know that I'm amazing. I know that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. So whatever you say, that your negative comments is more about you. That ain't got nothing to do with me. All right. So thank you again, Dr. Rainier. I appreciate you. All right. So we're going to get to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Lizandra Randolph. So I'm going to speak her bio for you guys. Here it is. Aggressively going the extra mile is not just a phrase, but a standard practice that is befitting to attorney Lizandra C. Randolph in every area of her life. Attorney Randolph is a graduate of Florida A&M University, where she earned the Bachelor of Art degree in English education. She taught high school English for several years before being promoted to director and executive director of an alternative education program. She also earned her Juris Doctor degree from Florida A&M University College of Law. During her matriculation through law school, she was a member of the Black Law Student Association and Entertainment Sports Law Association. She was also heavily involved with the Florida Civil Rights Association, where she served on the Education Committee and later became state secretary for the organization. Attorney Randolph began her solo practice, the law offices of Lizandra C. Randolph, in November 2012, where her primary practice areas are family law, personal injury, probate, estate document drafting. In 2003, she began her service as a Virgil Hawkins Florida Chapter National Bar Association fellow and became director of the fellowship program in July 2019. As part of the fellowship, she has helped provide pro bono services, to over 1,000 indigent members of the community in the areas of family law and housing. Her commitment to education in the community afforded her the opportunity to serve as an adjunct professor for the Garnett-Leiden program at the Florida A&M University College of Law. Now, that was a lot of accolades, and she did way more than that. That's just a little bit about her. So before I do, I'm going to go ahead and bring on Miss Lizandra. Hey, girl.
Wow, just wow, Amber. I'm sitting here listening to all the ladies, and I'm like Ranier said, almost in tears. This is wow, but this is such an amazing event, and I'm so glad that you decided to move forward and have it. I'm just in awe, and so I'm just ready to pour into as well, and I just want everybody just to kind of rock with me.
Yes. So I thank you for all that you do. You are much appreciated, lady. And I'm going to go ahead and step back and let you pour into these ladies. You can have the stage.
Thank you. Thank you. Start off like this. I have a brother. And my brother is a month and a week younger than I am. I'm going to say that again. So you can kind of get my gist. And if you know what I'm talking about, you can put it in the comments because I'll tell you. But I am a month and a week older than my brother. So yeah, you guessed it. My mother and my brother's mother were pregnant at the same time. And growing up with my brother, from what I can remember, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, it was always my brother. I love my brother. And for him was my sister. We love each other. We were always together. And one key thing is that we didn't even realize or understand as children what that meant. That we were only 1 month and 1 week apart. But all we knew was that we loved each other. And then my mother, and she's watching, so she knows the story. My mother never kept me from my father. My brother's mother never kept him from our father. They never kept us from each other. And my daddy always told us to look out for each other. Always told me more so because I was a little bit older, but me more so. But we were innocent kids that had no idea the hurt and pain that our parents were probably going through, the drama. All we knew is that we had each other. And I remember it was a particular day, August 8th, 1989, that I would never forget. And this part, my mother does not know, but because I've never told her that I remember, but I was at my grandmother's house, who's my father's mother. And I was there, my dad was there, and I was a daddy's girl. You don't have to tell on me, she knows. I was a daddy's girl. I love my daddy. I used to tell on my mama to my daddy. That's how much of a daddy's girl I was. And when my dad was at my grandma's house and I was saying he was getting ready to leave, I said, Dad, I want to go with you. Dad, I want to go with you. And he's like, no, you stay here. And as a spoiled brat, I'm crying, kicking and screaming, I don't want to go with my daddy. And he said, no, I'll get you later. And so I remember going home that night And I remember laying in my bed and I was going to sleep. And I woke up kind of in the middle of the night. I kind of felt something in my spirit. Even as an 8-year-old, I kind of felt something in my spirit. And then all of a sudden, I hear my mom sobbing in her room. I already knew at that moment there was something wrong with my dad, because my mother doesn't cry unless she filled with the Holy Spirit at church and she's shouting. That's the only time she really cried. But she was sobbing, and I knew that something was up. So her and my grandmother, my mother's mom, came into my room and told me that on that night, August 8th, 1989, my father was murdered. And I just remember my whole world being shattered, because I was daddy's girl. How am I going to do without my dad being here? And so I remember even then at the funeral, I remember how my dad was so loved. I remember that. I remember sitting there with him in his casket. I remember someone kissing him on his forehead, the love that I remember that as an 8-year-old child. I remember. And I just couldn't understand, why me? Why did I lose my dad? I had to go on through life, and with everybody celebrating Father's Day, I didn't have a father to celebrate Father's Day. But I knew my dad. I loved my dad, but he just wasn't here. And so I then, I went on in life, and then I had a relationship. I had a relationship with a guy. I don't have any children, but during that course of relationship, he had children. And I always remember telling myself that as much as I wanted to hit him upside his head about having all these kids, I knew that I could not treat his kids differently, that I had to love his children because they're innocent kids. Just like my mother loved my brother as her own, just like my brother's mother loved me as her daughter, I had to love these kids the same. But it was still difficult because I was still dealing with daddy issues, and I still couldn't understand why the pain was still there. Here I am, an adult. And sometimes we think that we have daddy issues because our dads purposely left us. My whole thing was, I don't have daddy issues because my daddy didn't up and leave. He was taken from me. But still, the pain is still there. And I really had to come to grips with myself and say, I have daddy issues because my dad was not there. But I'm going to tell you how my pain turned to purpose, and how I understand why now is very important to me of what I do in life. I'm a family law attorney. That means I do divorces, I do child custody cases, I do all that family stuff, the hard, the things that people go through in life that's very, very devastating. And the one thing, it hit me, I had a client that come into my office, and the client sat in my chair, and the client said, I want full custody of my kids. And just like, I kind of sat back and I was like, I know where this is going. And I said, tell me why you want full custody of your children. Because he's sleeping with this person and he's doing this and he's doing it. I said, I had to stop them right there. And they went on, you just don't understand, is what they told me. You don't understand. He left me. He's sleeping with this girl. He's not taking care. You don't understand. And I had to sit, and I sat back in my chair and I said, I do understand. I understand because I was that little girl. I was that child that the daddy stepped out on my mom. I was that girl. I didn't know the situation then because my parents were strong enough to not allow us to know it. But of course, growing up now as an adult, I knew what the stress and the trauma and drama it caused in our parents' life. I get it now because I see it every day when I'm dealing with my clients. I get it. But I tell them all the time, I say, listen to me. I do understand. I was that child, but not only was I that child, I was also that girlfriend who had to deal with a man having children on me, and I had to deal with making sure that I did not treat those children wrong, or I showed them the children love. And I tell my clients, one thing I appreciate about my parents, about my mother, about my father, and them not keeping them from, is because my dad died when I was 8. Had my mother kept me from my father, had his mother, my brother's mother, kept us from, had they been selfish and in their feelings and kept their children away from the father, I probably would have resented mother. Because if my dad would have left this earth and I didn't have an opportunity to meet him, to love him as I do, love my daddy, right, wrong, indifferent. I have those memories with me today, and it's because my mother stepped out of her own way, her own feelings, her own emotions, to make sure her child had that relationship. And I told him, I said, this is what's important in your life right now. It's important that your children know their father. Now, if you give me a reason that some other than you just mess around with other women, or you just don't like them, or if you're giving me something else, and I can rock with you. But if you're telling me that you want to keep your children who are innocent, who know nothing about what's going on, away from their parents, I can't rock with that. And I sat in my chair and I said, oh my gosh, this is my purpose. The pain that I've experienced from my dad being murdered, I never thought I would get over. But this is my purpose. If I wouldn't have experienced that pain of going through, I would not have been able to speak to parents, to speak to mothers and say, listen, don't let your children resent you, because they will grow up doing that. To speak to my fathers and say, fathers, you fight for your children. You fight for them. You don't give up on them. They don't know they're innocent. And when I sat back and I realized the story that I was able to tell my clients, I said, this is my purpose. Now I can release the daddy issues, the hurt, the pain. I can release, because I know that my dad's death was not in vain. It was to help me, and for allowing me to help other people who I don't even know, but to allow me to pour into them. Because our pain is not about us. Our pain that we go through is to help others. God knew, like they said, he knew me before I was in my mother. He knew that I would have the grace. He gave me the grace to be able to deal with that pain. He graced me with the ability to deal with that pain so that I can help others deal with that pain. And so my story to you, I don't know who's listening, if you're a parent that may be beefing with the father who you're not seeing your children or whatever, my message to you is, don't put your children in the middle of that, because tomorrow is not promised to us. Any one of us can leave this earth today. And if your children don't have the ability to know their parents and do with their parents and love and experience that can cause a lot of trauma for them, even in adulthood. So that's how I realized my purpose. I realized that the pain of losing my father was not to kill me. It was not to destroy me. It was to build me so that I can build someone else and I can tell my story. Because a lot of people say, when she sat in that chair and she said, Attorney Randolph, you don't understand. A lot of people think that way. A lot of people don't want to listen because they think people don't understand, which is why God gives us the testimonies that he does. It's so that we can use those stories, those testimonies, so that when I leaned over and I talked to her, I said, yes, love, I do understand. And here's why. And now let me help you. Now let me help you in this situation. And so that is my story. And I want to show, because I want to show, especially for, like I said, parents who may be struggling with this type of issue with their kid's father, kid's mother, whatever. I want to show you how what you do makes a difference and how it will affect your children in adulthood. I have pictures, and I hope you can see it. This is my mom and my dad, and I have this up, and I'm sure you can see it. This is my mom and my dad that I cherish so much. And again, I know what went down as an adult now, but that matters not, because we had that love. I have another picture to show you. This is actually my mother, my brother, and my dad's mom. If my mother would have made the decision to keep me from my father, this wouldn't be today. I probably wouldn't even know them. I probably would be struggling. And last, I have a picture. This is my grandmother, my brother, my nieces, and my nephews. These are my nieces. I don't have children. These are my nieces and my nephews. My heart. If she would have kept me from my dad, my brother, I wouldn't have this. So my request and my ask of you today is, even if it's not a mother-father situation, if you're beefing with your sister, if you're upset with your cousins, if you're whatever it is that the family stress and the pressure that you're going through is not worth it. It's not worth it, because you don't want to live with regrets. I don't know who I'm talking to, but you don't want to live with regrets. If you're mad at your sister, you haven't talked in 2 years, you haven't talked to your dad, unless it's a situation where it's detrimental to you, meaning that they've caused some situations. But if it's just because of pride and selfishness, get over it, because you don't want to live in resentment. I thank you all for listening. You can, contact me via my website. LCRlegal.com is on the screen. If you have questions, if you're dealing with some of these situations, I'll help you and talk you through them. Thank you.
Woo, sis. Yes, that was, I thank you so much for that. That was much needed for us, and we need to hear that, so I appreciate you so much. And just like Lizandra was talking about, man, that story hits hard, because there's so many of us that really we take our frustrations out on the men that we have children with, not thinking about the fact of how it affects our children, not thinking, like she said, thinking about the fact that you never know if that man is going to live, if he's going to survive. Her father passed away, so she did not have the opportunity. Her parents made sure that they had a relationship with each other, no matter what they went through, being cheated on, all of that. They did not let that situation come in between what the relationship that the children had. I know personally some people that's dealing with this, that they're struggling because the man cheated on the woman, and now he got kids with another woman, and now I don't want my kids to know they kids, and you taking out your own personal issues on the children and not allowing the children to get to know the father because of your feelings. Well, let me tell you, sis, it's not about you. You chose this man. You knew who he was when you met him. I'm sure you did. And you still chose to lay down and have a child with him. Therefore, do not let your child pay the price and the cost for your own personal feelings. And now you see, as Lejandra, she has a great relationship with her brother, and without her dad not being around, she is able to have a relationship with her nieces. Now, if the parents was like, no, you guys can't see each other, she will be missing out on so much of her brother's life and her niece's life. But she has the opportunity to be able to be a part of that because the mothers put their own personal feelings to the side and said it is important that your father still remains in your life and be a father to you. What he did to me has nothing to do with the type of parent that he is. He still has the right to be your daddy, and he still has the right to raise you and have a part of your family. So that was so good because, like, yes, children are definitely innocent. They have nothing to do with that, and I know a lot of us probably struggle somewhere. This ain't got nothing to do with her story, but I know a lot of people struggle because maybe the man doesn't really want much to do with the child, or because he comes here and there and sparingly, and he's not really around. Well, let me just say this to you. It is not your job to tell that man what type of father he can be. That's up to your kids. That's up to them for that to occur. They decide, you know what, Dad, if they get older and they decide they want no parts of him, you let them make that decision. But that is not your decision to be made. If that man come into their life and he want to see them 1 week and the next 2 weeks he don't want to be around, that's affecting the kids, and they'll see that. It is not your job to protect them from that, unless he is like beating them or doing some things, putting them in situations that they should not be in. Then you should not be dictating on whether he should have a relationship with his kids because he ain't giving them as much as you think he should, because he ain't paying child support or giving you money like you think he should. That child has nothing to do with your personal feelings, and you need to put your own personal feelings to the side and let that child decide what he wants to do. And I'm glad she kind of brought this up. I'm just going to put this out there really, really quick because we are kind of ahead of schedule a little bit. But I'm gonna put this out there really, really quick. So with my middle son, who's 18 years old, he just turned 18. Some of you guys that know me, he just turned 18 or whatever. So he lived with his father for a very long time. So his father really, so because he lived with his dad and his dad didn't agree with who I was or whatever, not that I was bad, it's just that I wasn't parenting the way he thought I should parent. So I dealt with struggles of him keeping me away from my son because he didn't think that I was doing the job that he thought I should do. Not that I was, just because I didn't want to see him when he wanted me to see him. Like, he wanted to dictate every single thing. Because of that situation, now my son at 17 years old, 18 years old, my bad, wants nothing to do with his father. Why? Because I didn't have to tell him, you know what, your dad ain't nothing. Your dad doing this, your dad doing that. I didn't point the finger. I said none of that. You know what I did? I said, God, you see what's going on. You know what's happening. I don't got to say a bad, evil word about this man at all, because you know what's happening. And I know eventually my son is going to see this man for who he truly is. And it is not my job to paint a picture of who he is, because my son will see for himself. When my son turned 17 years old, he moved out of his father's house. He said, I'm done. I don't want to be here. You keep me away from my mom and that side of my family, and you're trying to brainwash me, and it's not working no more. And now they don't have nothing to do with each other. I don't choose that for him. I'm just saying, because I stay consistent, because I continue to love my son, I didn't point the finger. I didn't let what his father did affect my relationship with him. Now all he wants is mom. Mom, can you do this? Mom, can you help me do that? Mom, can you help me do this? He moved in with his dad at 9 years old. So from 9 to 17 or whatever, I dealt with this. So this was years that I had to deal with this. And it was tough for me. But now it's like, okay, I went through it. Now he's 18 and he want to call me, talk to me, FaceTime me. I done visited him. I don't know how many times he done been here to Florida visited. And now his dad can't say nothing because my son's 18 and he can do exactly what he wants to do. So I'm just saying to you guys, don't make the fathers, or if it's the vice versa, the other way around, if the child live with the father, whatever the case may be, don't let them pay the price. Don't let the kids pay the price for the adults' actions, for our actions, because we chose the people that we laid down with, and we knew who they was when we met them. So since we knew who they was, it is not the child that should pay that price. All right. So let me read some of these comments. Yes, yes. Read my life, Amber. Yes, girl. Yes. And then here's a longer. What it say? Yes, I'm glad I've always let my girls decide if they wanted to see their dads, even though I didn't care for the way they was being about their choice or how much that was involved in my daughter's lives. Exactly. As parents, we have to be, especially as mothers, we always got to be the bigger person. Now, sometimes I'll be like, I don't want to be the bigger person. I want to be petty. Because I got petty in me a little bit, but you can't be petty when it comes to children. You just gotta sit back, roll with the punches, and always be the bigger person. All right. Okay. So our next speaker coming up is Miss Kenya Coleman. Let me go ahead and read Mrs. Kenya's bio. This is straight from her words. She says, I am a mother of 2 beautiful children. I have a heart for people who have been hurt and struggle with brokenness. I want to encourage them that it's not too late to start over again. God led me to start my Let's Talk Tuesdays, which is a weekly video blog that gives encouraging words to the public based off of my life experiences. My motto is just do it like Nike. No matter how you feel, God loves you and wants the best for your life. My hope is that my journey will inspire you and help bring people to Christ. So let me go ahead and bring Miss Kenya from backstage. Hey, girl.
Hey, how you doing?
I am good. Have you been listening to these speakers?
Oh, man, I'm blown away.
Child,
I'm speaking truth and facts.
Jesus, right? All right, so I'm going to let you go ahead and have the stage. I'm going to step on back and you can have it, sis.
I want to give honor and glory to God. Thank you, Amber, for letting me be a part of this event. This is like my second time speaking, and so this is new to me. This is out of my comfort zone. So I just want to take the opportunity to share my message with you all. Like she said, my name is Kenya Coleman, and my message today is it's never too late. God has new beginnings. And so where I want to start, I want to go back to my childhood. So in my childhood, I had 2 parents and they were addicted to drugs. And I had me and my brother. So they were addicted to drugs. And because of their lifestyle, we ended up losing our family home. Me and my brother got separated from each other. And my brother with my dad and I moved with my mom. And so during that time, there was just struggles. I struggled with my identity. I struggled with, well, why couldn't our family work out? I started getting resentful. I started looking at people around me and like, well, why don't I have my family? Well, my friend's mom is this, my friend dad's this, they're together, they're making it work. Or, I always had somebody around me that was positive. And I always compare, well, my life's not like that. Well, why isn't my life like that? And so when I was younger, I felt like I wasn't loved because I felt like our family should have made it work. And so as time went on, that traveled into my adulthood. So I get into a 17-year relationship with my kid's father. And in that 17 years, at first it was good. Everything was going good. And then as time went on, infidelity came in, verbal, physical abuse came in, emotional abuse came in. I started having low self-esteem. I felt like in a relationship I wasn't being loved. I felt like my identity, like I didn't know who I was. I was always fighting for who I was in the relationship. And so after 17 years, we broke up. And being with somebody else and having a kid with somebody else. And so that's when I hit rock bottom. That was like my breaking point. That's all I ever known from high school. And then we break up and we have kids together. And so it went back to my earlier childhood, the dysfunctional childhood that I had. Like my parents didn't work out. Now here I am. And now I'm setting this vicious cycle that they didn't make it work. I'm not making it work. What's wrong with me? So all these insecurities started setting into me and I just didn't understand why. And so once I hit rock bottom, I thought about committing suicide. I don't even know, to be honest with you, I don't even know how I was being a mother to my kids. I would cry every day. I lost weight. I wouldn't eat. And I was so tired of feeling like that because I felt like I wasn't loved. And I just got so tired of that. So, like, what can I do? So, I've always had a relationship with God, but in my 17 years of the relationship, my relationship with God fell off. So, once I hit rock bottom and I was experiencing those negative things that were going on in my life, I, uh, I went and I was seeking God. So once I started seeking God, he started putting the right people at the right place at the right time, or he would send people to me. He was starting to show me that I'm here for you. I never left you. You got to have the relationship. I've been waiting on you. And so, in hindsight of all that happened in that relationship with me, I have to be thankful because I got my relationship back with God. So once I got my relationship back with God, he started restoring my life. He had to rebuild my foundation because it was broke. So he started building me back up. It took time, and I'm not gonna lie, I had to fight. When I tell you I had to fight from the bottom, I had to fight from the bottom and work my way up. And I want to tell you, ladies out there, I don't know who this is for, that it's never too late to start over again. Know who you are, love who you are, be who you want to be in life. God has you. And so once he started building me up and showing me what I needed to do, this is where my passion came. This is where my purpose came. I want to tell you, in that relationship, even after the relationship, and I'll be honest with you, even now, I still get embarrassed. I have friends that's been married. They're married. And I'm not married. I played a relationship. I played the role like I was married, but I wasn't married those 17 years. Like, what was I thinking? Sitting in a relationship for 17 years with somebody and never was married. Those types of, I felt like that. I felt guilty. I felt ashamed, embarrassed. Even this is huge for me. I've never really shared this with anybody other than people that are close to me. So to speak this out, this is going to set me free. And so once God started restoring me, my purpose, my vision, what I want, I want to do. I know I'm supposed to be a motivational speaker, so this is the start. And I know I'm not like what everybody else looks like, and I can't compare myself to other people. But what I learned through this experience with my childhood and getting into a relationship with somebody that it wasn't a healthy relationship is that now I know that I need to build healthy relationships. I need to have boundaries. And what God taught me was he taught me how to love myself. He taught me who I was. And I didn't know that before. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know that I could be loved. I didn't know that I was enough. I didn't know that I could do anything that I wanted to do with him. I didn't know any of that. And so he also taught me that I can start over again. He can restore everything that I lost. And right now, he's still restoring me. He's still healing me. This isn't 100%, but I'm not where I used to be. I can look back in the rear view mirror and I can thank God that I'm not where I used to be. I'm not there anymore. Um, God taught me my self-worth as a woman, who I am, who I'm created to be, who I can be for my daughter, who I can be for my son to look up to. He taught me that I had to fight. A lot of times we give up. We settle, we give up. We think that that's the norm, but that's not the norm. That's not the norm for me, and I know it's not the norm for you. You have to get up. You got to fight. If you want something in life, it's not going to be handed to you. My parents wasn't rich. They wasn't rich at all. And so I'm telling you today, I want to say thank you for coming alongside of me today. Let me share my story. I know that I had to trust God in all this because God, he has a good plan for me. And he said, through all of this, I've created Let's Talk Tuesdays with KYC on YouTube. I share my life experiences every Tuesday. I'm hoping that I can just encourage and motivate and be the light in a dark place for people. And I also have, it's called K&M Rocks, and it's me and my daughter, and we paint rocks and we leave encouraging words around the city because I know there's somebody that's hurting. And when I see them post a rock and they share the experience of how that's just what they needed, it just means the world to me. So I just want to take the time to thank you, Amber, for allowing me to come alongside of you on this journey. And I'm so honored and blessed. Until we meet again, you'll be seeing me soon. You guys have a blessed day.
Hey, all right. That was amazing, amazing. So just like she said, God talked to her and God is still healing her. So she is a perfect example of when I say that you don't have to see the whole staircase. You just got to see the first step and then you start from there. Like she said, she's still healing. So thank you, Kenya, so much. Thank you for that transparency and that vulnerability, because you sharing your story is what we need to hear so that women knows that it is possible to move forward. And while you are even still in your healing space, your space where you said, you know what, I still need to work on me. I'm still working. I know what I want to do, but I'm still working on trying to get there. That is so important that you just start. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that was me. That was my mindset a little bit too. I thought it had to be perfect. I thought, you know what? I got to go to get all these college degrees first. And then I got to get this certification. And then I got to get this coach and I got to do that. But what it was it was just my own self not having enough confidence in me. So once I got so confident in myself, I was like, you know what? I got this. I can do this. So I started while I was still trying to figure it out. I started before I had a whole bunch of money. And because here's the thing. Here's what a lot of us do. When I get this much money, then I'm going to start my business. When I get this, when I get write down this whole business plan, then I'm gonna start. When I get my following up, then I'm gonna start that podcast. When I get my YouTube up, you know what I mean? When I get this, you always want to say, when you get this first, then you're gonna start. Instead of just starting now, where you're at, start now. For my journey, for me, I started when I moved here to Florida from Minnesota. So what I started is I just turned on the camera. I turned on the camera and I just started sharing my journey. Never in a million years did I know where God was taking me to when I was sharing my journey. I just knew at that moment I was in a transition in my life. And as I'm transitioning, I want to document this transition so I can look back on where I once was. So I turned on my camera. As I was working as a paralegal, once I made the decision to move to Florida. And let me just tell you guys, for all those women who don't know how to take risk, it is important that you learn to be a risk taker. You can't have everything all the time. You can't have it all right. You're not going to have all your ducks in a row before you get started. You just got to do it. So here is the risk that I took on myself. I took the risk of moving to Florida. I knew absolutely nobody in Florida. I was single, not in a relationship. I just knew that this is where God was calling me to come. So I said to myself, you know what? Leave Minnesota, because I lived there for 7 years. It served me enough. I wasn't getting nothing else out of that moment. So I knew that I was ready for change and transition and growth. And I wasn't going to get that living in Minnesota, because I lived there for 7 years and I still wasn't getting it. So when God said move to Florida, get this, listen real clear. This is how good God is. When he told me to move to Florida, my lease was about to be up in 30 days in Minnesota. 30 days, which means I didn't plan on leaving Minnesota. I didn't have a whole bunch of things said, a whole bunch of money saved in my bank account. None of that. Now, I wasn't broke, but I didn't have a lot saved. I really didn't have not much savings at all. So when God said that you need to go ahead and you need to move to Florida, I'm like, all the way across the country from Minnesota, you want me to go to Florida? I don't know nobody there. I knew one person here, but that's it. I know one person there, but I don't know nothing about Florida besides when I visit and went to Disney World and did a couple things, but that's all I knew. So when I moved here, when he told me to move, I was scared. I was like, oh no. Ain't no way I'm going to be able to survive in a place that I don't have no family, no friends, no nothing. I don't know nobody there. And you told me to move to a whole nother state where I don't know nothing about. But what I did was, I sat and I prayed and I was like, all right, God, give me the courage to be able to be okay with this, because this is really taking a risk on me. I had to be selfish with how I was moving, selfish in a sense of not caring about what no one else thought was good for me, because their mindset is set on safety. No, you shouldn't move there because you don't know nobody there. How are you going to survive in a place you don't know nobody? I couldn't let that happen. So this was just a decision that I just making for me, for my kids as well, because I knew being here, because God was calling me here, that this is something that was going to elevate me through the risk taking, through the risk taking became my elevation. I elevated from there. And that's why I was able, and from that risk taking, now all these women that I talk to now, majority of them, some of them I already knew, but all these other women, I never knew them. I didn't know them until I moved to Florida. Once I moved to Florida, then I became connected with these dynamic women that you guys see speaking on this stage. So this is why you are supposed to walk in purpose and in alignment with God. And when he calls you and tells you to do it, even if you don't know how you're going to get it, you ain't supposed to know how. God's the how. I'm just going to be obedient to what you tell me to do. And although I'm fearful in that moment, although I don't know if I'm really going to make it, I know my obedience is really going to bring me to where you called me to come. So now I have this platform now where if I lived in Minnesota, I wouldn't be doing no truth moments. You guys wouldn't be hearing none of this going on right now, but you hear it because I took the risk on me. So I have another interactive question right now. Who right now is scared to take a risk on you? Say me. I'm scared. I'm fearful right now. I know there's something in me. I know there's something that's supposed to be birthed from me, but I'm really scared to move right now. So that's why I'm a part of this. Here's the thing. I don't feel like my words that I say every time before I speak, I always say, God, tell me what needs to be said at this moment. Who's going to be a part of this conference. So whoever needs to hear me, I hear the me. So whoever needs to hear the words that comes out of my mouth, Holy Spirit, flow through me. Speak through me, because you know who needs to hear what I'm going to say. And I feel like nobody that I talk to is by coincidence. We are divinely connected. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that you are supposed to be here. You are supposed to hear the words that come out of my mouth. You are supposed to hear this conference because this is your confirmation, and I'm going to hold you to it. This is your confirmation that you need to go ahead and do what you want to do. Move out of state, go ahead and move, sis. Start a business, start that business, sis. Whatever it is that you want to do, go back to college, go ahead and do that if that's what you want to do. Because you need to take a risk on you. Through your risk and your obedience is when you're able to really shift the atmosphere of what you're already in. When you say you want better, you have to do better. When you want better, you do better, right? So really, really quick, before I call in the next person, I just want you guys to know that I have my Courageous Confidence workshop is going to be November 19th. You see at the bottom, Courageous Confidence Workshop. You can go to my website, www.ambernicolespeaks, and you log on and you register yourself for that workshop. That is where I'm going to teach you how to have multiple streams of income, help you with the low self-esteem that you may be feeling right now, help you in spaces that you really need the most help in. It's only one day. It's for 2 hours. So I'm really going to tap into it. I'm going to step on some toes, but I'm really going to get into leveling up your confidence, because when you become confident, then you are able to move. You won't be walking in fear, because your confidence will say, nope, smash that on down. Nope, I'm not listening to that. I don't want to hear that. So go ahead and sign up for my Courageous Confidence Workshop. It's on my website, www.ambernicolespeaks.com. You need to start with investing in you. Make the investment in you. You need this. I know you do. That's why you're here. You're not here just to get some motivation. You're here to get transformation. All right. So we're going to have a quick break. The break is music, though. My bad. A break from speakers, I should say, before y'all go logging off and be like, okay. No, music. So we have recording artist Tracy Phipps. I am so grateful for her because she said yes to me last minute to being able to sing. She is going to sing Indy Irie's I Am Light. So let me go ahead and bring her on in here. Hey, Tracy.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, girl.
Awesome. Good.
All right. So thank you so much for your yes, girl. I heard some of your music. I'm like, oh, Jesus, she be singing the soul out. So I am so honored to be able to hear you sing this song for me. I thank you once again.
Yes. Thank you again for having me. So I'm going to go ahead and sing this beautiful song for you all. I hope it blesses you.
I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. Oh. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or anything in the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of my dream I left behind. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I'm light. I am light.
If you know you're light, go ahead and say that in the comments. Say,
I am light. I am light. I'm not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is light. I am light. Yeah. I am light. I am light. I am light. If you know that you are light today, throw that in the comments. Say it. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
Girl, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I just shed a tear or two. Like, your voice is so beautiful, and that song with your voice is like, wow, it's really pouring into us and letting us know like we are light. So I thank you so much. Just like I just said a little bit ago, I do not think no one is in here by coincidence. This is divine connection. They needed to hear your voice sing that song the way you sang it, and you brought it for us. So I thank you so much for being here. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye. Whew, you guys, oh my God, Tracy, that voice is like the voice of an angel. And what the song, like the song says, I am light. And that is what we need to think about ourselves. When we so busy thinking about, I chose that song because we're so busy thinking about the negative aspects of who we are, that you never take the time to say, I'm light. I am valuable. I am worthy of love. I am a boss. I am capable of being my best self. You have to pour into you. The same way those negative people that tell you how you're nothing, you're not worthy, and you're this and you're that, the same way they said it to you, you have to say the same thing back to yourself. Faith comes by hearing. You have to hear yourself say it. So what I do is I get in the mirror and I say to myself, I am amazing. I am light. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am more than a conqueror. All that I have is not all that I am. I say it to myself because I have to know this about myself. So when I go out into this negative world of negativity where people value negativity more than they value positivity, when I have to go out into that world, I know that, like the song says, I am a light. I am needed in this world. My purpose is here to help serve all of you. I am doing this for a reason. And even if through my fear, through my introvertedness, because I'm not much of, I hate speaking in front of people, but I still do it because I know who I am and I know whose I am. And whose I am is way more important than anybody on the outside world. My God in me pushes me every single day to be the woman he called me to be, through fearfulness, through doubt at times, through worry, through all the frustrations. I still have to tap into that. Amber, who are you? Who are you? Oh, you Amber Nicole. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. You a boss. You serving your purpose. You out here beasting it. Girl, who are you? Why do I know that? Because I pour into myself daily, every morning through prayer and meditation. I don't just do it sometimes, I do it all the time. All right. So let me get to my next speaker, which is Mrs. Lakeisha Lewis. So let me give you guys who is Lakeisha. Lakeisha is an entrepreneur, a leader. Keisha says, I have taught the word of God for more than 10 years. 10 years, my bad. I am one of the founders of the Ruth Group. Ruth stands for Remain Unshakable Through Hardships, a faith-based ministry that seeks to encourage women to pursue their God-given passions and give their birth to their divine purpose. I am an author of the devotional blog. I am a mentor and a life coach, international speaker. I am a breast cancer survivor. I am a wife and a mother. Most importantly, I am a daughter of the Most High God, anointed to win and to rule in life as a queen, and hope to inspire you to do the same. So let me go ahead and bring Keisha in the room from backstage. Hey, girl.
Hey.
All right. So I just read all that off and it was so much. So they gotta see you. Have you been watching all of these women today?
Man, I'm blown away. I am so blown away. I've been completely blessed by everybody's testimonies, the words of encouragement, the hope, the love, the transparency. Beautiful. I love it.
Yes, yes. So now it's your turn to come on here and shake it up for them a little bit. All right, sis? I'm gonna go ahead and head backstage.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Hello, ladies. I appreciate you taking your busy Saturday and putting a pause in it and joining us for the second annual Truth Moments. Thank you, Amber Nicole, for putting this together, for being brave enough to do the things that God has placed on your heart and allowing this to be a platform for not just you and what God is birthing in you, but to birth that God is birthing in other women, the people that you're connected to. So thank you. I appreciate it. I have been completely blessed by everyone's testimony, and I am honored to be a part of this platform. I wanted to take a moment to talk about my truth moment, pain to purpose. As I was reflecting and preparing for this, I realized that I made a lot of decisions out of pain. And it caused me to suffer more pain. But I'm just going to give you a little bit of background. So I think that this it started when I was a child. I did grow up in a home that single mom. But for the most part, I can honestly say my childhood was good. My mom was great. She went above and beyond. She's very resourceful, and I really appreciate that. My dad, he did come, and I had relationship with him, but it wasn't the relationship that I felt I needed. But it was neither here nor there. It was about as I got older, about 2008, when things started really becoming real for me. In 2008, I lost my brother Matthew. He was murdered, and that was the first really serious, close relationship that I had and loss that I had. And it started a season of loss. And sometimes when I look back, I feel like Job sometimes. So I lost my brother Matthew in 2008. In 2009, I lost my job. I actually had a really good job. Back in 2009, I was making almost $30 an hour, working for AT&T. So I just began a season of loss. I lost my job. In 2010, my nephew, who was 16 years old, he committed suicide. I lost a baby that year. And so I was in complete breakdown. And I didn't even realize it because I hadn't stopped to assess the damage. I was just living, or I was just alive. And I didn't realize how that breakdown, what toll it was taking on my mental and emotional state. I have to say that in 2009, when I lost my job, I felt the tug of God pulling me. I had a dream. I had some divine encounters with people, an invite to church. And so in 2009, I did give my life to Christ. And I know that he was pulling on me because of the season that I was in, and that I was going to be needing something firm to stand on to keep me. And so, again, 2010, I lost my nephew to suicide, and I lost the baby. And that was the beginning of a breakdown in my marriage. I only had been married a year when the season of loss began. And I didn't know what I needed, but I was looking for something from my husband, and he wasn't able to give that to me. I couldn't even tell him. I hid a lot of my hurt and my pain because men are fixers. If you don't know that, ladies, I'm telling you that now. Men are fixers. So if they see you in breakdown, if they see that you're hurt, they're instinctively wanting to fix that problem for you. And if they can't, sometimes for some men, it causes them some turmoil and some frustration and some hurt. So I hid my pain. I hid that from him. And it began to get worse. Eventually we got to a place where we were separated. Our finances took a toll. That was when the crisis with the housing market, jobs, all of that came all at one time. It was just one season of one blow after another. So we separated off and on. I went through bankruptcy, and all of this God was just using or allowing it to happen so that he could make it a part of him establishing a firm foundation. I like to say that I had built my house, my life, my family, everything as a house of cards. And it was everything that I could do within my own strength. It was everything that I could do within my own power and my own capabilities. And when I gave my life over to Christ, he came in. I felt like he came in with a wrecking ball, even though he was not the orchestrator of those negative things. He was allowing those things to happen. So I wanted to talk to you about trials, about when you're facing trials and tribulations. Let me just go back and say that even though God was reestablishing this foundation for me and wanting things to be built upon his word, about wanting it to be built upon what he was doing in my life, I did get restoration. I got a new job. That baby that I lost, I actually got pregnant again. God came in, healed and restored my marriage. He brought me into a place of financial stability. But then in 2017, I lost another brother. He was killed in a car accident, tragically. And then in 2018, I lost another brother to murder. And then 2019, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I know that that's a lot of, I'm just trying to give you a synopsis because I know what it feels like to hurt. I know what it's like to have pain, sorrow, grief, frustration, disappointment. And everybody has their own personal story of tragedy. But I want to be, when you see me, I want you to see the grace of God. I want you to realize that God is still good and that he is still working. For my Bible students who like to dig into the word, God spoke to me, Matthew chapter 7, verses 24 through 27, build your house on the rock. Everyone then who hears this word of mine and does them will be like a wise man who has built his house on the rock. And the rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the house of sand. And the rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat against that house and it fell. And it was a great fall. And so I'm just telling you right now that if you are experiencing some of the things where you feel like, God, what is happening? You're throwing everything at me but the kitchen sink, or including the kitchen sink. You may be, God is maybe in a place, he's getting you into a place where you can come to him. Don't be afraid to go to him in all transparency and let him know where you are, because he wants to reestablish your house. He wants to help you build a firm foundation. He wants you to build your house on a rock. Build your life on the truth of God's word, not on the realities of your past or your present. Come out of agreement with your pain and your hurt and your frustration and come into agreement with the truth and the reality of who God says you are and what he has created you for and who he has created you to be. Now, this is not going to be easy, ladies. You we have been saying, it takes work. You have to give God something to bless. It's going to take a level of courage and boldness for you to walk in that. And so it's going to take some practice. God spoke to me, Luke 11:24 through 26 and verse 28. When an evil spirit leaves a person, it goes into the desert searching for rest. But when it finds none, it says, I will return to the person I came from. And so it returns, and it finds that its former home is all swept and in order. Then the spirit finds 7 other spirits more evil than itself, and they all enter that person's life, and they live there. And so that person is worse off than before. Jesus replied, but even more blessed are all who hear the word of God and put it into practice. Give yourself grace to practice the things that you are hearing today. It's not going to happen overnight. Take and glean and gather the nuggets of wisdom and hope and love and go to God with it and say, here, Lord, here's what I heard you speak to me during the truth moment. And I know that you have a better plan for me. I know that you have a hope and a future for me. Help me navigate this life, Lord. Help me to apply the things that I have heard and that I have seen and saw in the truth moments. Help me to live that daily. Because what he's going to do is he's going to grace you with some opportunities. Your trials are opportunities for God to come in and intervene and help you. How did I get past all of the loss and the sorrow and the hurt and the pains? I did it intentionally. It doesn't happen by osmosis. Every day, even today, I wake up intentionally, purposefully seeking the face of God and seeking to enjoy the life that he has given me right where I am. See, Satan has his plan, but God has his plan. Satan wants to rob you of your witness, your fidelity, you know, God's faithfulness, to make it appear that God is a liar. that his plan is not good for you, that he wants you so focused on your reality that it robs you of the truth. See, your truth shapes your reality. He has deceived so many people into believing that he doesn't exist and that all the blame should be on God, that God is angry, that he's punishing you. But that is that is so far from the truth. God loves you, and he never speaks with the condemning, sentencing voice. He never speaks to his daughters that way. He never speaks to his children that way. Satan wants to rob you of your integrity or your wholeness. He wants you so broken that and impaired that you are keeping up a cycle of hurt, that you pass that down to your children and they pass that down to their children. And he wants to keep you in a place of brokenness so that even when you're out and about, you're connected to friends, your husband, your family, and your community. He wants you to pass on that hurt. You're in the grocery store and you're snapping off on the person who's checking you out. Like, he wants you to pass on that hurt. He wants to rob you of your virtue, your well-being, your strength, your power, your authority that God has given you. He wants you to be weak spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and then physically. He wants to strip you of your well-being, your strength, and he wants to continue a cycle of breakdown. He hopes that he can set up the idea that you are powerless, and he wants to start a domino effect in the wrong direction. He wants you to continue to pass on hurt and pain and to continue to identify with the pain and the struggles that you have experienced so that you can continue to make decisions out of that hurt. But God uses the same trials. When you bring them to him, when you strengthen, he will strengthen your fidelity. He will strengthen your witness. He will allow the breaking to bring you to himself so that you can call on him and he can save you, that no other person can take credit for the things that God is doing in your life. He's going to rescue you. He's going to release you to save others. He's going to enable you to help others through the process of becoming whole. He's going to use what the enemy to strengthen your virtue, your well-being. He's going to strengthen you so that you are stronger spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. You will be complete, lacking nothing, so that you will want for nothing. You will be mature and you will grow into who he created you to be. God wants to start a domino effect in the right direction. He wants to strengthen your virtue, your well-being. He wants to strengthen your wholeness. He wants you to be everything that he created you to be. I do have a quick video. I think Amber is going to help me with that, about how God starts the domino effect in the right direction.
Yes. So you want to play the longer video first, correct?
Yes, the longer one, please.
All right, so let's play this video. Let me share my screen.
Everybody knows about playing with dominoes, but what you may not know is that a domino can knock over another domino, which is about 1.5 times larger. So what I have here is a chain of dominoes. Each one is 1.5 times larger than the previous one. And the smallest domino is about 5 millimeters high and 1 millimeter thick. And I will carefully place it. And there are 13 dominoes. And the largest domino, it weighs about 100 pounds and is more than 1 meter tall. Ready? Boom. That was 13 dominoes. If I had 29 dominoes, the last domino would be as tall as the Empire State Building.
Thank you, Amber. I just wanted that video to be shown because a lot of times we don't realize it just takes one small place of a healing and restoration with God. And it begin a domino effect, not only in your life and strengthening you, but in also connecting and strengthening the people connected to you. You were created to rule and reign in life. You are royalty. And so I just want to encourage you that, and I'm going to use this as a quick example. I didn't realize that when I got diagnosed with cancer, and applying boldness and courage and bravery to going through treatment was going to spill over into other areas of my life. And it was that domino effect. It gave me the boldness to launch out and do the things that God was leading me to do, calling me to do, starting the website, doing video blogs, writing my devotionals, just reaching out into the community, coming alongside other people's visions to help support them, to see them birth the things that God had placed inside of them. And so you, even if it's one area where you think maybe God is talking to you about your finances, and you may not realize that the discipline that he creates in you and your finances will help you discipline yourself in other areas. This is why it's vital that you discover your purpose and get into your position, because you will not only impact yourself and heal, but you will also impact the generations that are to come after you and everyone who is connected to you. So this is my last video. I just want you to see the domino effect that God wants you to have. He wants you to move from identifying with pain and move into identifying with your purpose, and have the boldness and the courage to walk with him hand in hand so that you can birth that in this new season. All right. That's all I have for you, ladies. I appreciate your time. I hope that God really spoke to you. And I do pray that many miracle signs and wonders and transformation will follow this word. Have a blessed weekend.
Okay. All right. So she just dropped so many nuggets. Let me just say how she said it. Let me take it back. She said she did not assess her damage. Woo, that was so big. And that is what we do, not just as women, as people. We are not self-aware of our own ways. We're not self-aware that we are the reason why we're not moving. We're the reason why we're not stuck. It's because of me, because of my thought process, because of my stinking thinking that we're not moving. And when you take the time to really become self-aware, that's number one. So thank you so much, Keisha, for sharing that with us. We have to start being aware of who you are and whose you are, like I said before. And it starts with becoming more confident in who you are. I didn't become a confidence coach because it's just something I wanted to do and it was popular. I became a confidence coach because I know how confidence impacts every aspect of my life. Confidence has impacted me being in the relationship I'm in right now, because in that relationship, I set standards to that. And if I'm not getting what I'm supposed to be getting, vice versa for the both of us, then we don't need to be together. We're not meant to be together. It's in my business, because I am confident, I am able to do what I'm doing right now. I'm able to host this conference for you guys and be connected with so many people. I would never be connected with nobody on this stage had I not first took a risk on myself, and through that risk birthed my purpose. And with my purpose, I am able to keep on walking. But confidence is where it all started. And a lot of us have such low self-worth about who we are because we think the things that we went through is supposed to shape and mold us and keep us there. But that is not the case. You need to be moving and shaking and starting being self-aware of who you are, becoming confident and knowing that you are worthy, that even if you did something yesterday, today you can be a whole nother person. You have to create the life that you want, and you have to align yourself with God to create that life. You cannot do it on your own. And let me just ask you this question and type it in the chat right now. Really, really quick. How many of you have been trying to do things on your own and it's not working? I'm so tired of being broke. I'm so tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I want that big house, but I can't afford it. I want that marriage and be in a happy, loving relationship, but I can't. But these men out here ain't nothing. And there ain't no good men out here. Type in the chat if that's some of your thought processes and how you think. And I just want you to know that, yes, I see the responses coming through. It's because of how we feel about ourselves, our low self-worth. When you become confident, when I became confident in who I am, how I see the world, how I vision people, I see things from a whole new lens. I don't see myself from that broken lens no more. I don't see myself from I'm not able to achieve all that I desire to achieve because of my background, because where I'm from, because I was molested, because I was in an abusive relationship. I don't see myself from that space no more. Now I see myself as valuable, as worthy. I am able to get exactly what I want in this earth because God purposed me for greatness. But it started with being confident in me and pouring in myself. And from there, I am able to help you guys like I am today. So the women today speaking today, I'm blessed so much by how many of you guys, all that you were bringing through, the vulnerability and the transparency of all of you guys, because I could not have been on this stage and done this without you. So now we are about to bring on our next speaker, Mrs. Tasha King. Tasha King, also known as Lady on Purpose, believes her mission is to inspire peace, purity, and prosperity in women from all over the globe. She teaches and coaches women and girls in living their lives authentically with faith. Part of her mission for transforming lives is to teach women the importance of owning their sexuality and living life with purpose and intention by understanding that their bodies and wombs are the seat of their creativity and power. Tasha is a certified sexual health and wellness coach and intimacy educator. She helps couples to reestablish the foundation of intimacy, trust, and communication. She teaches women and girls the importance of sexual wellness and the effects that it has on their entire person. She has a bachelor's degree in psychology, which has helped her to understand the effects that relationships can have on the individual, including the very important relationship with self. Tasha is committed to living a life of faith, impact, and purpose. Let me go ahead and bring Tasha on stage. Yes, sis. Hey.
Hey.
Yes, I just want to thank you again for saying yes. Like me and Tasha, a little backstory. Me and Tasha actually met on where was it at? What was that event again? Remind me.
Hearts of Companionship.
Yeah. There we go. So we met on a event for Hearts of Companionship, and when I seen her, y'all, she had me dying laughing. Like, she is so funny, but she is definitely like a great speaker. She's able to use who she is and just be her complete self, but also use, like we said, use her pain to purpose, and why she does a lot of what she does right now. So once again, I want to thank you for what you are doing, and I'm going to head backstage and I'm going to let you have it, sis.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. This has been an amazing Saturday, and I am bringing up the rear. I am the last speaker of the day. So you guys, this has been a full time for us. So thank you for being with me and for sticking around to hear me out. I am Lady on Purpose, and that I came across that about 2007 to 2008. God actually laid it on my heart. I had gone to a conference from a well-known woman speaker. She was in Orlando, and she started talking about her treasure, right? And she talked about all these businesses she had started and that she was going to start. And so I got back home and I'm fired up and I'm saying, okay, God, what's my treasure? What am I going to do? How am I going to make some money? And God was like, yeah, no, basically what I called you to do, your treasure is going to change the lives of women all across the globe. And I'm like, but what, God? And so, and so Lady on Purpose was birthed. And that basically became my journey of becoming the woman that I am, of being a true lady on purpose, because I was definitely raised in the ratchet area. I was raised by Trina because I was the baddest. Right. So, so I was raised in that era where, and I guess it's still the same area. So, and I wrote on Facebook a couple weeks ago when WAP came out that if I were 20 years ago, that would have been my theme song, right? I was no lady at all. And all of the consequences in life that came with that mentality were mine. A little bit about myself. I grew up in a house that was full of abuse, that was full of craziness, that was full of trauma, that was full of violence. You know, I saw my father put his hands on my mother. At the age of 4, I was molested by a neighbor. I have pain and trauma and a testimony just like everybody else, just like every other woman that you've heard. And so I'm not going to really dwell on that part of that pain, because for me, there exists a deeper truth, right? And for me, the pain that really matter, and if I had to title my my conversation with you all today, would be the pain of not knowing, right? And so what I didn't know when I was going through the marriage where I was abused, and where I was going through the times in my life where I was fighting and trying to run the street, or when I was going through the times of selling my body on the street, right? What I didn't know, that I was the embodiment of God in this earth. I'm gonna let that sink in real quick. That I was the embodiment, and that I am the embodiment of God in this earth. That the who that I am here for a purpose, a divine purpose. I came from spirit to create, to transform lives. But not only that, but everything that has happened in my life is just like so many of us have said already today, that it's not just for me, right? Because I know the same way that everything that God is, I am, right? And so everything that he did to heal the masses, I know that that's what God has sent me here to do. And I know that those pains, those physical pains, those emotional, mental pains that I had to endure, I know that they were divine, right? Because I truly believe that pain is a catalyst for us to look inward, to go within, to find that God within, to go into that space of knowing, right? To go into that space of knowing who we are from the divine's perspective, right? And then another deeper truth for me was the pain of knowing my worth, right? Once I was able to tap in, identify those physical pains, emotional pains that I was enduring on the outside, whether by my own mess that I brought to the table or at the hands of others, because I'm not a victim, and I understand that sometimes I've added to my mess, right? And that nothing happens without God's allowing it, right? So another place I had to understand was that I have value, right? And understanding that I have value allowed me to walk away from situations that no longer serve me. Knowing my worth allowed me to say no to those things that I kept saying yes to that were detrimental for my life, right? Another area that a pain of not knowing was that I was abundant, right? So I grew up in a small town, still am here, but grew up in a house with 7, 8 siblings. And I remember at one point, 7 of us, 8 of us, we were sleeping in a 2-bedroom apartment. We didn't have anything. And my mindset began to be, okay, just like my sisters, we're gonna have a baby. I'm gonna have a baby. I'm gonna get on food stamps. I'm gonna get on some welfare so that I can live my best life, right? I'm gonna get a job, a nice little job at a nice nursing home. Nothing against working at a nursing home or any of those type of facilities or getting a trade. I say it's perfect. But when your mindset is that's all you can have, that's a broken mindset. That's a broke mentality. That's not understanding that you are abundant, right? And so the pain of not knowing that I was abundant, right, kept me from understanding that I could have any and everything that God said I could have, right? The pain of not knowing that I was abundant kept me from seeing that it is God who gives us the power to get wealth. It is God who gives us creative ideas, right? And Miss Amber talked about how she started working hard and getting out here and hustling in her business. Yeah, it's God who gives us that mindset. It is God, and everything that God is, it's us. So that abundance, the Bible tells us that God said, Jesus said that it is his desire that we will prosper and be in good health, even as our soul prospers, right? So there's nothing missing, nothing lacking, nothing broken in our lives, right? And not knowing that I was abundant kept me from believing that love was really truly my portion, right? Because we know that abundance is not just about finances, but abundance is about every aspect of our lives. It's about joy. It's about happiness. It's about love, right? And once I understood that I was abundant, that I could have anything that I desired, then my life truly began to change because I stopped accepting hurt and pain. And I started believing and knowing and only accepting love. I only accepted honesty, right? Because my mindset was able to shift and I was able to walk in a different type of knowing, right? And the another place of not knowing, of the pain of not knowing, was I didn't know there was a time where I was sacred, that my body was sacred, that I was a sacred being, right? And that I didn't need to sell myself to find love. I didn't need to give myself away to be liked. I didn't need to go around and think that people could use me up, use my thoughts, use my body, use me however they chose. I didn't know. I allowed so many people on my own to come into my space that did not deserve it. Once I understood that I was sacred, once I knew that I was a sacred being, my life really began to move in a direction where I can say no. And I know that when I show up, either you're going to get me and love me or you don't have to. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Because this is who God called me to be. This is who God made me. So I want to say a little word about purpose, because a lot of times I know we look at purpose as being this big lofty thing that's outside of ourselves. But I want to remind everybody that purpose is that intentional, purposeful action every day, right? So it's that person that you smile at the grocery store, right? It is having those words, kind words to speak to your child. It is loving on your family and your friends. That's purpose. Like, our whole being is divine. Like I said in the beginning, we are the embodiment of God in this earth. So everything that we show, every way that we show up should show our divinity. And that is purposeful. That is walking in purpose, right? And just walking in our everyday purpose will take us to those times where we understand and know and acknowledge our bigger purpose. I've always spoken to my friends, my family, and been able to encourage them and help them to shift their mindsets. This has always been my purpose. It's just now in 2018, 19, 17, 20 that I've been able to actually monetize my purpose monetize my treasure, but I've always had this as my purpose. So I want to just encourage every woman out there that's listening that as you walk into the bigger purpose, just know that every day there is purpose on your life. That just simply by you breathing and waking up in the morning, that there's a purpose and there's a divine, not just purpose, right? Not just purpose, but you came from spirit, you came from a higher place. And there's a divine purpose on your life. So don't take it lightly. Don't take it for granted. I'm sure I don't have 10 minutes to speak. I'm pretty clear and concise with what I need to say. So I'm good, and y'all be blessed. And every speaker that I've heard so far, I just want to say thank you, because y'all have really blessed me. And I appreciate it. Thank you, Amber, for sure. I just love your spirit, girl. Like, for real.
Thank you.
This has been an amazing time.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much, girl. Thank you. All right. So, man, she just said some light on some of the things as these speakers are speaking. Are you guys really taking in like, dang, I've been there too, or dang, I had that feeling, or dang, we kind of relate in that area? Because what we find is we think that, oh, I'm the only one that's going through this. But when you hear people be transparent about their lives, we see that a lot of us have dealt with a lot of the same things, sexual abuse being one of them. A lot of the speakers dealt with the same thing. Not all of us dealt with that, but a lot of the ones on here that of my speakers speaking on the panel, they've dealt with that. So we need to get into alignment with God. So I'm gonna go with what she said a little bit when she said sacred being, how she didn't feel like she was one point where we felt like, you have to have sex to be worthy or whatever the case may be. So that kind of feeds into what I did, because with me, when I was on my journey of self-discovery, that's the one thing I refrained from for an entire year. I told myself, you know what, during this year of learning who I am, I will not be in no relationship with no one, because ever since I was 16 years old, and my majority of my adult life up until that moment, I had from 16 to 30, I had been in relationship only two, but still I've been in two relationships. Those relationships held that time frame. But at that moment, I never took that time to really discover who I really was. So once I got out of the relationship and when I started discovering who I am, I took a year off of no sex, no relationship. I don't want none of that. I'm good. I'm going to take this time to really pour into myself, figure out, what does Amber really like? What does Amber want? Who is Amber? Because at this point, when you get in relationships, you try to be who he wants you to be instead of being who you truly are. So I took that time. So that set really heavy on me, because like she said, I had to realize that I was using sex in a sense of getting love, when really I shouldn't have to have sex with you for you to love me outside of marriage. You should love me because of who I am, because of who my character, because of my personality. That's the sex is added, but you should love me just for me. So that really, really resonated with me. And the women today, oh my God, I am so grateful and honored to be able to be you guys being a part of my platform. Like, God knew that we were divinely connected and all of you guys needed to speak. So before we wrap things up, hold on, let me read a comment really quick. She said, that's what I did. Very promiscuous, trying to fill in voids and feeling of being wanted. Exactly. We think that sex is equal to love. And that's what a lot of women think. Women think that in general. If he's sleeping with me, then he must love me. When really that's not how a man thinks. And I learned that, men can have sex with women that they don't love. They can have sex with women they don't even like, because they don't move how we move. They don't think how we think. They think on a whole different level. So right now we're going to do a Q&A session where you guys, I'm going to bring everybody from backstage, and anybody that has any questions right now is that time to ask any of us those questions. We're going to do a quick Q&A session for them. And then after that, I'm going to play some music. We're going to dance this thing out, and it's going to be a success. So let me go ahead and bring each and every one back on, starting with Lizandra. Hey, girl. Tasha. Dr. Rainier, Mylera, Keisha. Some of you guys are still on mute. Hi. All right. So you guys, Oh my God, let me just say, like, you guys did such an amazing job listening to all your stories. Most of them I didn't even know. I know Keisha personally. I've been knowing her for a very, very long time. But the rest of you guys, like, I didn't know like much about you. Is Kenya in here? Oh no, okay, that's fine. You know, that I didn't know much about you. So just hearing your stories, you guys have blessed me like beyond measures. I didn't even know that it was going to be. I knew it was going to be amazing because I know when God brings some stuff together that he's like, yeah, you know what? I know it's going to. I knew that, you know, but this was beyond what I thought it was going to be. I said mind blowing. This is like mind blowing for real. Like, so thank you guys so much. And right now, is there anybody on here that has any questions for any of the ladies? Anybody at all? And I know it takes some time before the questions come through. They kind of lag a little bit. And also for you guys, if there's any like last words that you want to say as well while we're waiting for the questions to come in, you guys can go ahead and take the stage. We have Tierra that says, thank you. You are welcome, love. You are welcome. Any questions from anybody? Any questions? Oh, I know what I want to say. Really, really quick, because I know we talked about this at the beginning. But any of you guys, if you've seen King Dante, the owner of Glorious Hands, she runs the Girls Academy. Like I said, she's doing donations. So those of you guys, the link is already in the Facebook group. So if you go and look into discussions, the link is already in there. So if you go ahead, whoever donates at least $25, it's this. Can you guys see it? Yeah, you see it? I think you can. This is a free ebook guide that you guys get that I put together. It's 5 steps to embrace your weaknesses. I will send you guys this a personal copy to your email where you can download it straight from you, because like I said, it's important that these young girls, that we are able to pour into them like we're supposed to. Here's Kenya. Hey girl.
Hey.
Does anybody have any questions, ladies? No questions? It's fine if you don't have no questions, but if you do have questions, don't be shy. Go ahead and get them out there, because now is a time where we're on this platform to be like, well, how'd you do this? How'd you maneuver there? What'd you do here? Now's the time to do that. Let me see. Everyone, thank you for the courage and sharing your story. Oh, she says, everyone was amazing. Thank you for the courage and sharing your stories and testimony. What a gracious host. Oh, thank you. Keep up the great work. Oh, okay, we have a question right here. She says, what do you do when money is an issue of what stops you from joining or getting things out there?
Can I answer that one?
Yeah. I'll let my Lyra answer.
So money is bigger than the physical currency of money. Money is energetic. When you can master the energy of money, it doesn't matter how much you have. And I'm going to tell you that from experience. About 2 months ago, I literally gave a resignation letter that effective immediately as you hit this thing in your hand. And I'm the breadwinner in my family. Effective immediately, once you get this thing in your hand, I'm out. Literally not even 24 hours later, the job that was for me came when I stepped out on faith. You have to understand, faith is not when things are all good. It's when you can step out when things are going bad and you don't see no exit, but you know it's going to be taken care of. So when you master the energetic flow of money, you'll begin to see the physical flow. So how do I do that? One, I just trust and believe that it's going to come. And then also, I have started like an abundance book. So when it comes to money, anytime I spend money, instead of me spending it in fear, every time I spend, I have a small little notebook. If I had it, I will show it to you. And I write down where I spent the money, how much I spent it. And underneath it, I said, all that is invested is good and will return itself 7 times. So regardless of what's happening in my life, I can have just $50 in my account. But if my kids need something, I'm not questioning it. And what has happened is I have not been at zero. And I'm going to be real with you. My whole family had COVID. My husband got let go from his job. We're making $1,600 less for our whole entire family, and nothing has been lacking. Why? Because I've mastered the energetic currency of money, because I know it don't come from the physical plane, it comes from above. So when you know that, it don't matter how much you got. You just move one step at a time.
My bad. I think I was muted. All right. Yes, exactly what she said. So a lot of what she said also is what I do is like the law of attraction. You know, what you believe is what you receive. So if I'm gonna give you guys an example. Imagine how many people when you're in a rush and you trying to get to work and you're rushing and every red light you stop at because you are rushing. But when you ain't rushing, the lights just breeze on through. There's sometimes I want to like check my phone real quick and the light just turned green. I'm like, come on, I want you to be red right now. I'm trying to send this message off really quick. You know what I'm saying? Because in that moment, I don't care when the light is green or red, you know, but when I'm trying to get to work, I'm just like, focus, get to work. You know what I'm saying? So it's because of my energy. I'm rushing. I'm trying to hurry up and get there. And the light's like, nope, you ain't going to get there. Nope, you ain't going to get there. If I would have just left early enough, you know, then I would have got there fine. But because I'm always rushing. So I know we all been into that moment. So that's what it is. It's basically, it's like the law of attraction. Like the way, another thing for me, what I say is, since I do a lot of meditation, I do like sleep affirmations at night too. Sometimes I listen to YouTube videos at night before I go to sleep. So I listen to go to YouTube and listen to like money motivation, like affirmations, like that helps you go to sleep at night. I listen to those things because that thought process of me constantly hearing you are abundant. Money flows to you easily. Money is just a resource. Like it says all of that stuff to me. So then I can get it in my spirit. So I don't be so worried about money being in my head, because when you're so worried about it, that's when it doesn't come. It's when you're focused on your purpose and when you're working and when you're busy doing what you're supposed to do, the money gonna show up and you ain't even gonna be thinking about it. The checks that hit my account, like, oh dang, another deposit. Oh dang, another deposit. I wasn't even thinking about money. I'm only thinking about walking in purpose. So that's the thing right there.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, I do want to touch on too that exactly what Malara, I'm sorry, am I saying that correctly? Malara and Amber were saying about the energetic and the spiritual aspect of currency or money, but there's also a physical, right? So let's not neglect the physical. When it comes down to it, you have to be intentional about how you spend and how you what's coming in. You need to pay attention to what's coming in and what's going out. But also as well, like I said, it is God who gives us the power to get wealth, right? And so when we think about that, God gives us ideas. Right? God gives us things that we can do that will bring us wealth, that will bring us finances. But you have to be in tune to hearing the voice of God, in tune to hearing your intuition or your Holy Spirit or whatever you call it. You have to be in tune enough and be willing to have faith enough to step out on that, do that thing, and trust that God is going to let it go. He's going to open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you're going to have enough to pour on somebody else. Okay, so it's a whole, all of that works together. All of that works together, the energetic, the spiritual, and the physical. So if you're afraid to step out on faith, you ain't never gonna have no money, sis. So, child, I get loose. But yeah.
Yes. That was good. All right. Thank you for that. That's correct. You do have to be mindful of how you spending it, because because that was me, I'm not gonna lie, where it's just like, or it's a scarcity mindset. Basically, it's like, you know what, I need to hurry up and spend it now because I don't know how long I'm gonna have it. I need to hurry up. Let me go buy these shoes. Let me go buy this. You know what I'm saying? So I can have it. Yes, that's correct. You have to be mindful of what you're bringing in and how you're spending, because if you're not mindful of that, you can be a millionaire easily, but if you're spending it fast, buying all these big things, it ain't gonna matter anyways. That's why a lot of lottery people that win the lottery still go broke. It's like, how the heck you go broke and you just won $1 million? Because they went and bought a $500,000 house, a $50,000 car, and now they ain't got nothing. They ain't got nothing to show for it but that house and that car, but that house about to be in foreclosure because you didn't invest properly. So yeah, she is correct there. Is there anybody else that has any questions? Any other questions?
Sophia asked a question. Did you see hers?
No.
Sophia, she said, I'm not keeping my daughter from her father, but he feels unless I take him off of child support, he's not going to do too much, financial or emotional. What do I do?
Well, let's let Lizandra go ahead and answer that question since that's her expertise.
Sophia, all you can do is what you can do, what you're responsible for. You're not responsible for anybody else's actions. And what I always tell my mothers in this situation, because you're not alone, it happens a lot, is you continue to encourage the relationship between your daughter and your father. You continue to speak positive things about the father to the daughter. Never down him, never speak negativity, never show any of those things to your daughter, because it would negatively affect her. And all you do is encourage the relationship. Eventually, as she gets older, I don't know how old your daughter is, but eventually she will see for herself what's going on, and she'll be able to kind of come to terms with that. And I always say this too: if in fact you have a father who's coming in and out of the child's life and the child seems to be overwhelmed by that, don't hesitate to look for counseling for your daughter, because your daughter may need to learn how to adjust to that. And that may not be something that you can handle, but a professional counselor could handle those emotions that your daughter's going through. But your part of it all is to make sure you're continuing to encourage your relationship. You continue to tell your daughter, positive things about her father or what have you. Never let your daughter know what's going on. Never talk to your daughter about the child support. Never talk to your daughter about what he's not paying, what he's not doing, but you always encourage what he is, and you always let her know, what he is doing. And then once she gets to an age where she understands, okay, I'm seeing now what dad is doing, she's not going to resent you for it. She's going to look to him and say, hey, Joker, it's you. You weren't doing what you were supposed to do. And again, you guide her through that with much prayer. You pray with her about it. You pray, on your own. You pray that God change hearts, because he can do that, right? So you pray for him. And I know sometimes it's hard to pray for people that drive you nuts, right? Drive you crazy, but it provides comfort for yourself. It provides healing for yourself. So you pray for him. You pray for her. You pray for the unit as a whole. And if she needs the help professionally, don't be afraid to seek that out for her, because she'll appreciate it later.
Yes, that's amazing. She also had a second part to that. She said that she wants to take him off child support. Should she take him off child support because she kind of wants to do it?
No. No, because the child support is not for you. The child support is for the child. And why should the child lack because a parent wants to be irresponsible? That's not fair for the child. So anything that he's giving, let's say if it's $50, okay, that $50 is going towards a light bill because and what people don't realize, and men, women, both alike, I'm giving the money to the mother for her to do X, Y, and Z. The lights have to be on because your child has to have lights, right? I need a new. I do need a new car, because when I was taking your child to school, the car was breaking down, and when I called you, you ain't want to come pick her up. So yes, I got a brand new car. Thank you very much. And yes, your $200 a month is helping me pay for the insurance for the car. It is, because your child has to be protected when your child is in our car, because if somebody hits us, I hit somebody else. They don't think these things, but we have to think through these things when we're deciding to take a person off of child support. If he's not going to do it on his own, because what tells me is if he wasn't doing it before, which made you put him on child support. If he was doing it before, you wouldn't have to put him on child support. So no, you don't take him off of child support, because your child, it's about the child. It's about your child's needs, and it's about the fact that he created this child just like you did, and he has to pay for this child just like you do.
Wisdom. Exactly. Yeah, I agree with everything she said. It is the other parent's responsibility, definitely.
And that goes with having healthy boundaries, and not the responsibility is not, the financial burden is not just yours alone to carry. There's a responsibility. That child was made 50-50, so he should be supporting that child just like you have to support that child. It's not fair to you. You would be taking away from his role as a father and his responsibility to her. and you don't want that.
Yes. All right. Is there any other questions? Let's say, I don't care if you have to use the money on my grandkids one day. Oh yeah. So that's the whole situation where maybe if he's not paying child support, it's still gonna rack up. You ain't paying, but you still gonna give it to me eventually. That's hilarious. All right. Is there any more questions that anybody else has to ask before I jump on here and start getting my dance on while we rock out? y'all know I gotta dance. I gotta end it dancing. Come on, I wouldn't be me if I didn't end it dancing. I'm gonna need y'all to dance with me too. All you guys watching, I'm gonna need y'all to dance with me too.
Oh, you know we dance, Amber.
Hey, I know. Yes. Any questions? Let me see. I should have stayed on the Facebook thing because this one is a little bit slow. That's okay.
I don't see anything.
No, nothing.
Yeah. No.
Okay, awesome. So let me go ahead and play this song. So what this song is, it's a gospel song, but it's an upbeat gospel song or whatever. And it's gonna get you hype. And I need you to listen to the words, because the words in there talks about how this is my season, this is my time, and that how I'm gonna have big things. When you start pouring into yourself and saying, I'm gonna do it, this is gonna be my season, this is my breakthrough season, it's coming through. So let me go ahead and play this song for you guys.
Let's go. I don't know what you're going through, but we stopped by to tell you that what's in front of you is bigger than what's behind you. Your destiny, your promise, your future. You might as well shout before you get it, because God sent me here to tell you that what He has for you is gonna be big.
I believe.
Yes.
It's my season.
It's my season.
You want to declare it over your own life. Say, I believe. That it's my time. I can feel it. Breakthroughs in the room. You want it. Anticipating. God's getting ready to move. Listen, you ought to declare this over your own life. Say it. God, a miracle. And it's gonna be. Listen, I don't know about you, but I'm excited about my future. Why? It's gonna be big. And it's gonna be big. I'm running into destiny, shouting into my promise. Why? God's God is gonna blow your mind. God's gonna blow your mind. Hey, and it's gonna be. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. Destiny's big. City's big. Promise is big. But your job will be big. My future is big. Lord, let it be big. And it's gonna be. God is about to blow your mind. God's
Yes.
Amen.
That was amazing. I want to thank you guys again for your transparency. It is needed in this world. We are needed in this world. Everyone watching is needed in this world. And I hope us being able to speak to them that they know that they are fearfully and wonderfully made. And everything I have is not everything I am. Thank you guys so much. Really, really quick, while I'm going to end the broadcast, if you guys can just stay in the room, that'd be great. Let me go ahead and end it.